Hi, my name is Missy. Let's do some charms. These are going to be the Astro charms. I did the first video on this last week. So I think I'm going to do this every week. I'm not sure. I really liked it. I don't know how everyone else felt about it, but I really felt like it was a good reading. The only problem is it does take 3 hours to kind of do one of these. So hopefully I don't have to take any breaks in between. All right. So as usual, these readings are meant to be timeless and general in nature. If the details fit, it is meant for you. If they do not, please do not try to make them fit, as that will do more harm than good and is not my intention at all. I am not a doctor, lawyer, or accountant. If you need advice in any of those areas, please consult a professional. Please do not do something simply because I suggest it as the advice of this reading. You are an adult who is responsible for your own life. Please use that responsibility to your advantage. Okay, so if you hear me call out a song or artist, please keep in mind the same rules apply when it comes to the details of the reading. Not every detail of that song is going to apply to your situation. Please use your intuition to be able to know whether or not that, any or all of it applies to you. And again, don't try to make the details fit. Sometimes it's just the title. It can be one word. It can be the chorus. It can just simply be the artist. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with Aries and work our way through all signs of the zodiac. And there will be timestamps below. So let's see what's going on for Aries. All right. So one thing I did forget to, mention, if anything happens or falls to here in the very center ring, this is talking about this week specifically, or it's more like a general reading, right? If it falls in this outer ring here, or anywhere, if it falls anywhere on the board, it's going to be this week. If it falls in this outer ring here, that's going to represent somewhere between, 2 weeks to a month. And if it falls anywhere on the table, depending on how far out it falls, it's going to determine the timing. Okay. So, Aries, you don't really have anything as like the general area or the general portion of your reading. However, yeah, I was gonna come up here, but to be honest, I mean, it does seem like there's a little bit of a concentration of everything up here, but to be honest, it's not so much that I feel as if that would really be the general portion of the reading. I actually kind of feel like this energy is a little bit scattered. So we're just going to start and we're going to go house by house. You don't have anything in the first house, which means at least for this week, there isn't anything, or at least for this particular reading, there isn't anything happening to you personally, because the first house governs like you, your body, your personality, that type of thing, right? So nothing is happening to you personally, but that just means that there are things happening around you, right? You do have the arches, which is kind of like a doorway that's coming into your second house, which is the house that has to do with money. So if you are trying to, and by the way, this was kind of here a little bit on the outer edge. So I'm actually going to see this as, an influence that could be coming in at the very end of the week, possibly even towards 2 weeks, because it's close to the edge here. But I see this as, a doorway to go through, but it was in the reverse. So that means there's, one step left, or maybe you're trying to go through a particular doorway that has to do with money, but at this point you are not able to, because, obviously it's upside down, and I apologize for that. My bird hates me, and so it annoys him when I sit here and talk, apparently, although recently he's been a little bit nicer until right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but okay, just take it however it resonates for your particular reading. I guess he doesn't want me here talking. I'm going to wait a second until he stops. Oh my God. So annoying. All right, let's keep going. All right. I think he's actually upset. He's like literally screaming at me, and then he turns his back on me. I think he wants me gone, but I'm sorry, I have to work. He's just gonna have to deal with it. So that means I'm gonna have to deal with it as well. So coming into your third house here, we do have the rune of strength. This is the ox rune, right? So this did come up in the upright, and it was sort of on the outer edge. So your communication is going to be your strength, somehow the way that you communicate is going to be your strength this week. You don't have anything coming into the house of home and family or the house of children, at least this week, but you do coming within the next two weeks to a month. You have this, oh, look, you have the number 4 domino, which is the double 2. So this has to do with like partnership, support, you know, security as well, because this is the number 4, but you have the double 2s, so it's like partnership. So the number 2, 4, and 22 is going to be important when it comes to like the house of creativity and children. So take that however it resonates for your situation. When it comes to the house of like work and health, right? So this particular house is, well, it's actually service and health, but I call it work because this is the house that speaks to how are you spending your time each day, and is it productive? Is it not productive? Is it healthy or not? We do have the song Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons playing in the background. So it's interesting to me that, okay, so we have a couple of things happening here. You've got the rune of movement, and that's coming in the outer edge. So 2 weeks to a month, there's going to be movement in some area that has to do with either health or work. Possibly emotional health, because you do have the moon that came out in this house. So something healing. And actually, as I'm saying that, Chiron is still in Aries, and we do have a lot of energy in Aries right now with both Jupiter and Mars. And there's a couple other things going on there. For the most part, especially when we're talking to Aries and we're talking about healing, having Chiron in your sign with the rune that talks about movement, movement in terms of healing or emotional health within the next month. However, you have the Sagittarius charm upside down like this. And so that means that, like, if it's in the upright, I see this as being, on target, taking aim. It's also Sagittarius energy when it's in its most positive aspect, meaning that there's charisma and, generosity and, abundance and fun and, it's like being the life of the party, right? That's what Sagittarius energy or Jupiter energy is all about. And so if it's like this, you're not embodying that. It actually comes out as being very toxic energy, which means, you're missing the mark in some way, right? Like, or maybe you're not being charismatic, you're being loud and obnoxious, right? So, because, Jupiter can be very, very loud. Jupiter can blow things out of proportion. Jupiter makes everything bigger. So if you're talking about health and emotional issues, it's saying, and especially for Aries, because you have Jupiter and Mars in your sign, it's saying, like, be very careful that you don't lose your temper, because like, you know, that can take you off your target or off point, right? You want to have Jupiter or Sagittarius energy when it's in its most positive aspect. And by the way, another aspect of Sagittarius has to do with the ninth house, which is the house that deals with like your subconscious, your spirituality, your higher values, right? Higher education as well. So, you know, being educated, like maybe you're not educated. If it has to do with your job, maybe you don't have the education that you need, so you will need to do that. That can be another interpretation of this particular charm flipped that way. So anyway, you should see some movement or improvement in that situation within a month. You don't really have anything happening when it comes to like partnerships, marriage, you know, anything like that. But you do have here in the 8th house, the car upside down and this piece of peacock ore. And so, I don't know, you may have car troubles. You know, this is the house of Scorpio, the 8th house. And so, you know, the 8th house has to do with like other people's money, also death and endings, right? So I kind of like when the car comes out in the reverse, I kind of get you can't help but think, well, maybe the car is gonna die or something. I don't know. Take it however it resonates. But then you've got this like peacock ore, right? So like I feel like even if the car dies, or I don't know, this is come on, if you would focus. Oh my God. Okay, so it's interesting. You've got this song called Jesus in LA playing in the background, right? And we're talking about like death and endings. And then we've got this particular crystal that talks about like magic, right? And not like I'm saying that it's a good thing if your car dies, but like it's just okay. And I'm only taking this like based on like not everybody lives in LA, right? We're talking about cars, so travel. We're talking about a specific city, and it's saying you won't find Jesus in LA. So basically, like, you know, you're trying to find something, but maybe it's ending, and or like, I don't know if this has to do with like this could be a good thing. Take it however it resonates. I'm not trying to say it's good if your car dies, but you never know. Maybe you end up getting a better car, right? I don't know. So now we get to the 9th house. Give a girl the right shoes and she can conquer the world. The saying by Marilyn Monroe that just basically says like, having it talks about like having the tools that you need to be able to accomplish your goals, right? And so, you know, I think you know exactly what it is, but you're maybe you're ignoring it because this is like upside down. If I was, I would have to turn this the right way up to be able to read it correctly, right? So, you know, maybe you're looking at something the wrong way. Maybe you need to, you know, look at it from a different perspective. Take that however it resonates. Now we do have this little mouse, and interesting, and we also have the I love you charm. Now I have some charms in my little charm bucket that are specific, that are very personal and special for some reason. And so whatever it is that makes them special gives them a little bit of an extra meaning when it comes to the charms for me. And so this just happened to be one of my granddaughter's toys from when she was very, very small. It is missing a small piece right here, but it is a little mouse. And so for me, mice tend to represent like small things, small problems, because, you know, if you've got mice in your house, that's not a good thing unless it's a pet, right? And maybe you have a mouse for a pet, I don't know. This was in the reverse, right? So if mice are talking about like small issues and small problems, it could be small problems with your children or grandchildren, but it doesn't have to be, right? It can just be because the energy of children brings with it something new. So it could be that there are small problems with something new, and maybe you need to look at it from a new perspective with this particular charm coming out. Interesting, you have the song, the song Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones playing in the background. So this here came out straddling both the 9th and 10th houses, and the 10th house is the house that has to do with like career and reputation. So again, this could be somehow attached, like small problems with reputation. I don't know. You do have the witch's hat. Oh, look, and you've got the rat. Oh my God. Okay. So now that makes me understand a little bit. Like, so there could be, because if you look at the way this is all set up, rats and mice, right? The mouse is upside down, and then you've got all of this in the ninth house. And so the witch's hat has to do with like spirituality, right? And magic as well, but it obviously is going to represent spirituality because of the way these came out. So maybe this reputation has to do with something that is spiritual, or something that has to do with the way that you believe or what you believe. Just take it however it resonates, and that could come in within a month. It could be a small problem that happens within a month. And then we have, look at the humanitarian rune. It's calling on you to be compassionate about that, especially if it has to do with your career. You're going to have to be compassionate about other people's points of view, most definitely. And so we have the 11th house here. Now, this particular charm is special because it was something that my aunt gave me before she passed away. And so, you know, I carry it with me everywhere. It's just a little crystal that, you know, or actually a little glass crystal pendant that says, you know, has other little crystals in it, but they're just glass, right? They're not particular type of crystal. It's just that this came out in this way, right? And so, you know, when it's in the 11th house, because this is attached to my aunt, right? That means it could be attached to like family, but also it does kind of play into how the 11th house is structured, because the 11th house would be like your extended family, your community, the people that you network with for work, the people that you socialize with like if you belong to any special groups or affiliations or anything like that, right? And so having the I love you charm in the reverse is basically saying maybe there's no love there, or there's a loss of love there. We do have the Libra charm kind of in this outer ring. So it could be something attached to a Libra kind of towards the end of the week. But this Libra charm also is the scales of justice, right? So if you're not dealing with a Libra, it could be something that has to do with a legal situation or something that feels unfair. And maybe that's the reason there's this loss of love, because of the unfair or unjust aspect attached to it. We do have the rune. Oh, and look at, oh, interesting. So we have this, and look at, as I'm looking at that, it's 543. So that's an angel number, descending numbers, which really ties into all of this, the loss of love here because of something that's unfair or unjust. But then the song that I was wanting to point out is Smile for the Camera by Upsall. So interesting. We've got the rune that represents ice or a standstill. There's a standstill happening here with this community or this whatever. And then look, it's a standstill that's happening because the emotions are running too high. This is the water rune. And so that's just what it says, like that's the reason that there is this standstill. And I don't know that it's actually going to be worked out, because this is, you know, the 2 weeks to a month ring. But this, again, ice freezes things, it stops things, you know, you have to wait for it to thaw. You have to wait for the emotions to thaw, is what this is saying. This also it's kind of straddling the 12th house a little bit, but that it could be just because the heart is just kind of big. But you know, the 12th house has to do with like dreams, worries, nightmares, and hidden enemies as well. So this could be attached to someone who is a hidden enemy for you. But yeah, I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stay tuned. There may be another reading here for you on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help me get the channel out there, as I am new here. And thank you for watching. We are going to go ahead and move on to Taurus. Okay. Oh, one tried to fall off the table. I had to stop it because I hate it when they fall on the floor. It just, to me, that's like a really not good thing. And so I'm going to, give me a second, I'm actually going to explain this particular charm first, which is the one that tried to jump off the table. So we're reading for Taurus now. And so this particular charm is going to be the most important because, as you can see, it is in the reverse. This is the rune of joy, right? So there's something that would have made you feel joyful that is either suddenly being taken from you, or unhappiness and depression is no longer on the table. It is no longer an option because this particular rune tried to jump off the table, okay? Take it however it resonates for your situation. We do have another particular rune that came way out here in the outer ring. So this is the candelabra. And once I pull it back in, it's actually coming in where it kind of straddles the 1st and 12th houses. So this is something that is going to hit you personally, but you definitely do not see it coming, more than likely because it's at least 2 years out. But it is clarity, right? That's what the candelabra is all about. It's about lighting the way, showing the way, you know, illumination, being able to see in the dark. That's what candles are for. It's also kind of romantic, right? Candlelight, it can be romantic in some ways, but for the most part, this is like, you would see this type of candelabra on a dinner table, right? In a dining room. So I don't know how, take that again, however it resonates. Like I say, it could be romantic, but I don't know. It came out and it like came underneath my computer all the way over here. So I would say definitely a year to 2 years for Taurus. We do have, oh, interesting. We have the song Good and Goodbye by Carrie Underwood. So that actually explains to me what's going on over here. You'll understand within a year or two why this goodbye was needed. I feel like that's what it's saying. You don't see it, you don't understand it right now, and it probably hurts, but you will. So let's go to the center. Oh, we do have Taurus in the center. We've got the cat, and then we do have the scales of justice. Now, well, the scales of justice actually, it is more on these 2 houses, so forget that I said that for the general portion of the reading. I'm going to read 1, 2, 3, 4 of these charms here as the general portion. Even though this cat is kind of in the center, we're going to discard it as well. But just remember that cats always represent like intuition, okay? And so in the general portion of the reading, let's talk about the cat first. He's upside down. He's facing the board, right? This is what he actually looks like. He's a button. So I have a couple of very important charms in my bucket that have special meanings beyond what the charm itself would mean, because they either belong to someone important or they were, you know, given to me by someone important or something. And this particular button was something that belonged to my mother. So having this like in the reverse that way tells me that well, first of all, cats are always about like following your intuition and your instincts, right? So if you've had like some sort of intuition or instincts, or if your mother has recently given you advice that you are not following, you need to pay attention. All right. So again, if your mother is not alive, this is some sort of intuitive advice that's coming in, like, you know, well, I mean, intuitive advice is pretty self-explanatory, right? It's not coming from an actual person. You're getting it intuitively, but it's coming from your mother if she has already passed. But if she is still alive, this is advice that she's giving you in the here and now that you've been ignoring. Taurus or you are going to be like, everything is going to be centered around you this week, obviously, because you are there in the very center, but you could be dealing with another Taurus as well. And then we have, oh, interesting, we have the rune that has to do with like breath, right? The spoken word, right? But this is also like God's breath. I wish it would focus. This particular rune, the meaning of it is God's breath, right? It's like when you pray, this is the answer that you receive, but it's in the reverse, meaning that maybe you, it was in the reverse and it was like this. So again, maybe you haven't received the answer yet, but they're saying don't ignore it, right? Probably you haven't received the answer yet because you're not really paying attention, I kind of feel like, because it's not good to have it not only upside down, because the rune is supposed to be written like this if it's in the upright, right? It looks like an F a little bit, but to have it like this and like that, it's saying the energy of it is very much blocked, okay? And then we have this sun, and I'm actually going to put this one back over here when it comes to the 6th house because, or not put it, I'm going to add this particular meaning to the 6th house because this particular house has to do with work, service, and health. So this is how you spend your time each day and what you are doing each day. So maybe you're looking for some sort of answers, but you're not really trying to find them, if that makes sense. Like maybe you're I don't know what's the word. Dude, and interesting. The song Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum is playing in the background. Dude, see, this is God's breath right here. It's like you're praying and you're asking for an answer, but you're not listening when or you're not ready to receive it, or something is what this is saying. When it has to do with healing. Now, I'm going to elaborate on that in just a minute, but before I do, I want to talk about the 12th house over here, which has to do with the sun. Remember that I said about that clarity. So I think this is actually tied into this particular candelabra here. So, you know, again, clarity, that particular sun is coming out over the fire element. So this is like spiritual clarity, intuition, which is exactly what this is talking about. And notice that these are in the 2 opposite houses, the 12th and 6th house, right? So again, this clarity is hidden from you purposely. Something else I want to point out in these opposite houses, because this is the concentration of your energy, you have the apple here as well. Apples speak to wisdom. There is some wisdom coming in for you by the end of the week, but I don't think it's the actual answers that you're really, really looking for. I think, like we said with the candelabra, that's going to be at least 2 years out to get the real clarity, the real reason for it. But then when we come over here to the house of service and healing, you've got the circus tent, and it is literally in the upright, which means you are getting ready to enter the circus. And I don't mean to scare you, but like that can be a good thing. Circuses can be fun. I don't know, you know? You do have the star here. Look at that. It could be a circus because you're being recognized, right? You have the dog here, which is all about friendship and loyalty, right? Dogs are always positive energy. This is like your best friend who's there, who has your back through thick and thin, right? And then we also have in this outer ring, so within 2 weeks to a month, you also have the number 12 die, which is the number 6 domino, the highest denomination. And like if you're playing dominoes, isn't this like, this is like, you know, a good luck domino, right? Like, so there's something, to me, it feels very positive, right? I don't play dominoes often. I've only played it a couple of times in my life. But I think this particular domino is one of the more, like, people want this one, right? When you're playing, this is the one everyone's after, because you'll get the most points. So that's coming, whatever it is that you're looking for, that, like, I feel like that's kind of the energy, right? Like within a couple of weeks to a month, like, you're after whatever it is that's going to get you the most points, and it's coming in, but it could feel like a circus. Just kind of enjoy the ride, right? Or I feel like it might be good because of the star and the dog, like enjoy the ride. Whew. already this was a little bit complicated, but we're going to keep going, all right? So now that we've looked at that, we don't have anything in the first house, but we already know that there's definitely stuff affecting you personally this week because of this particular charm being in the center. So the only other thing that's coming in the first house is actually, you know, within a month. So I think that ties into here because this is the number 10 domino, which is 6 and 4. So, you know, the numbers 4, 6, 10, 64, and 46 could be important for you, but the number 10 in particular, which is what 6 and 4 adds up to, is a very auspicious number. It's like the Wheel of Fortune, right? A new beginning. So there's a new beginning coming for you within a month, probably attached to whatever this is, which is exactly, you know, the numbers or something that you need in order to get the most points to win whatever, okay? And then, so we're going to go over now to the second house, okay? So in the second house, interesting, you've got the cat. This particular cat has a slightly different meaning from this one here, because this one, as I said, is kind of attached to mothers and like answers and intuition. But this cat is my little Siamese cat. Okay. Oh God, please focus, because I love this cat in particular. Oh my God, come on. I think it's my rings, you guys. I'm sorry. But I'm going to wear them anyway because I use them for the energy. Okay, you see that little Siamese cat? Look at how pretty that cat is. He even looks like he's got puckered lips and like, you know, elegant winged eyeliner a little bit. You know how Siamese cats are, right? I don't know. To me, this is a Siamese cat. And all of those little like circles, I don't know, the dots, even though Siamese cats don't have dots, I see those circles as like infinity over and over and over, right? So for me, there's something about the Siamese cat that's just so like sleek and elegant and like almost sarcastic. It makes me think of the Aristocats from Disney, the Disney movies, right? Like the Siamese cats were always kind of the, you know, they were a little bit bitchy, but still, they were just so, like, how could you not be attracted to them? I don't know. I feel like, in other words, being in the second house, that's what I'm trying to get at. I know I talk too much sometimes, but, you know, being in the second house, this is the house of beauty anyway, right? So I think like there's something about you that's very sleek, elegant, attractive, or something that's going to get you a lot of attention, because this is my moon and stars. Do you see how we've got the crescent moon here and he's blowing these stars, right? So, you know, maybe you kind of intuitively know, maybe this has to do with like the hard work that you've put in. It could be like you are emotionally expressing yourself and it's actually very beneficial for you. You know, it's very positive. You do have Saturn right here. Mixed in with these stars. So, you know, astrology could be something that's actually important for you. But beyond that, Saturn has to do with like hard work, karma, lessons, wisdom, right? So yeah, all of that is attached to the second house here. So it just feels like you're going to get some recognition for, see, it's going to be very positive. We do have in the house of communication, also like short distance travel, but in the house of communication, you have a special charm that came out, which is the mouse. You are the second sign that actually had this particular charm come out. And this is another one of the special charms that I have in my bucket. You can see there's actually a few more in there. I'm not going to point all of them out, but there's a few more in there. But anyway, this particular charm or toy it belonged to my grandmother, so there could be some communication that has, or grandmother, my granddaughter, sorry. So there could be some communication coming in with like within a month that has to do with like your children or even your grandchildren, right? Someone small or something small, because this is the mouse, and mice represents, or you know, the mouse represents like small things or small irritations, small difficulties, small problems. This particular mouse happens to look very sweet and innocent though. She's also smiling. So, you know, it could be like very small problems that, you know, like maybe you don't see coming because they're like, they look very innocent, right? Like it could be attached to someone, communication with someone about small problems, but whoever this person is, they could look or act very innocent, right? Or it could be one of your children within a month. We do have the song Head Case by Kaylee Morgoo playing in the background, or I don't know how to say her name, so I apologize if I butcher it. We don't have anything coming into the 4th house for you, but we do have in your 5th house, which is also the house of children. And interestingly, we do have Leo here in the outer ring. So you could be, I feel like actually, let's be honest. Okay, so we have this, what I call the open heart cross, which is like, it's because it looks like in the very center of the cross, it's like radiating energy, right? So it feels like that would be the heart. And so like the heart opening, but there's like, because of faith, or it's saying like have faith, especially if you're dealing with a Leo. This is the 5th house, so this is the house of children, creativity, joy, fun, and romance, right? So if you're dealing with a Leo, or if you have a child who is maybe a Leo, especially because of this coming out over here, or maybe a child who is demanding a lot of attention at this time, or they will be within a month. Maybe you need to communicate to them in some way, or there's some sort of understanding, or like with the 3rd house of communication, it can also be like an education, learning something. So you may learn something about your child within a month, and this is saying have faith, right? I don't think it's anything bad, because again, this is the open heart cross, which is, you know, I feel as if this is like, when I explain this, this is the energy of your heart expanding with love. That's how I feel like when I see that cross. All right. So for the 6th house, we already spoke about the 6th house. So we're going to actually move on to the 7th house, which is the house of your partnerships. Now we do have this, when I say partnerships, this can be marriage, business partnerships, also your open enemies. These are enemies that you already know you have, right? They're not a secret at all. So we have a couple of things happening here. We have a particular charm that fell in the outer ring, which is going to be, you know, several months to a year out. You're going to need to like take care with your appearance, or you know, the hair comb, to me, this hair comb, or anytime you use a hair comb like this, it's for security, right? You're trying to keep your hair out of your face, right? You're trying to hold something back. So maybe, you know, within a year, you could be trying to hold something back in some way, keep something out of your face, right? But at this point, or at least by the end of the week, it's very likely that there could be an end to a relationship or a partnership, because you do have the ring, which came right here on the edge. And so, you know, it's literally falling off the board. You do have the you versus you charm, the palm fronds, and the dragon. And so this has to do with like, with the dragon, I always see the dragon as like Plutonian energy, or like crystals, gold, anything that can be found underground, right? It doesn't always have to mean greed. It can just mean abundance and you know, gold and jewels and all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, when it comes to like relationships, especially when you've got the you versus you charm, it's very likely that it can be talking about like greed, or not necessarily greed, but like lower vibrational energy that is causing you to have a problem in your relationships, where you may need to reach out or extend an olive branch to someone, because we have the palm fronds, which to me is it always kind of feels like palm fronds represent like peace, right? Extending, at least for me, they represent like extending the branch of like peace to somebody, right? Like you have to be the one to reach out, because that's also something that if you look at them, look at the way they're reaching out. So if you have to be the one to either initiate or reach out or do something about this particular energy here that's toxic. And then again, remember, up to a year later, you might be holding something back or trying to keep something out of your face. It could be this particular relationship. In the 8th house, you do have the scales of justice along with the guitar. This is the house of other people's money. It could be like, you know, something creative, some sort of creative endeavor is going to be fairly compensated, right? This could be like, you know, an injustice as well. Like if there has been an injustice where maybe you haven't been properly reimbursed for your talents or your work, or it could even be like a legal issue surrounding something creative. Now this was in the upright, but it didn't actually fall like this, right? There's something imbalanced in this particular energy. If this had fallen like that, standing upright, I would say it is balanced, but it fell upside down like this, right? I don't know. It feels like there's something out of balance that is going to be righted. Like justice still has to come in to balance it out. And so when we come to the 9th house, then we have the grapes that came out like this. And by the way, it's kind of been calling me, but not a whole lot. It actually started calling me over here in the 7th house, right? The song Blue on Black. But as we got over here, it really, at the very end where it's talking about blue on black, he's saying that over and over. This is by Five Finger Death Punch, by the way. So something about not being prepared, because that's what camels, they persevere, right? They're very resilient, right? It's because they're able to carry water on their back, like that they're able to, you know, they're used as, or excuse me, they're able to conserve water for such a long period of time because they store it in the hump on their back. But the thing about the grapes being like this, upside down, meaning, you know, you can't see the true beauty of the abundance, right? Or maybe there's something about like you're not prepared, you're not saving, like you intuitively know how you're not prepared or something. There's something about being not unprepared here, or maybe even unprepared for the abundance. And like especially if there's abundance or money coming in for you, this could be saying like save it, right? It's a really good idea to save your money, but you'll know best. In the 10th house, we have made with love, and then the turtle is upside down. Like if a turtle ends up on his shell like this, that's very, very bad, right? The turtle needs to be turned upright so that he can survive. Like he has a very difficult time turning himself back upright, right? And then we have out here in the outer ring, we've got the open heart key, which is like solutions coming in, or help coming in. Hold on, because this one came out like this. You know, I'm reading it kind of like the reverse, but it's always a positive charm. Like for me, it's always a positive charm. So, but when it's like this, it's almost like saying, Like maybe the solution isn't, like you're wanting a solution within a month, but the solution isn't there yet, even though things are sort of upside down right now in terms of your career. You're still putting a lot of like love and passion and effort into it, but I don't think you're going to get the solutions or the answers that you want just yet. Actually, I just remembered this does tie into all of this energy that we saw in the very beginning. And then finally, for the 11th house, you do have Aquarius in the 11th house, but it came out like this. So Aquarius energy is typically very like healing, very inclusive, right? But having it in the reverse means like maybe like you're being excluded, because this is coming in the 11th house, which is Aquarius house in astrology naturally. So, you know, this should be very potent Aquarius energy, but it's not, because it came out upside down. It's when Aquarius is in its toxic energy, which is very exclusive, right? Greedy, competitive, and also, I do want to point out, because Pisces is the sign that's ruling this 11th house, Pisces wants to be creative. Pisces wants to be like filled with unconditional love, but maybe you're not feeling this from the people around you. And so, yeah. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the reading here. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There might be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help get my channel out there as I'm new here. And thank you for watching. We're going to go ahead and move on to Gemini as soon as I turn this fan on real quick. Okay, so Gemini has the song Whatever by Godsmack playing in the background. Yeah. All right, so very interesting. Here in the center we have the X's and O's, so there's love coming in for Gemini. We do have love and be loved, but then we have the $5 bill in the reverse. So there is a lot of love here for Gemini, but you will have to pay for it, or there's some expense attached to it. Take that however it resonates. That is the general reading for Gemini. So again, like maybe you're not feeling loved for some reason. I don't know. Take it however it resonates. So when we get to the first house, we have the pentacle, or the pentagram, which is the 5-pointed star, right? And it's sitting on top of the air element. So like you're protected. So here's the thing. The air element is all about like communication, right? So, and the 5-pointed star is also, it's not just a protection. It's also like wisdom. And so when it's over the air element, like maybe there's something that you need to say that is actually very wise. You might not want to say it. Maybe you aren't sure. Maybe that's what it is. Like you have some wisdom to share, but you're feeling insecure about sharing it for whatever reason. Like maybe you're afraid people are going to attack you or reject you or something. I don't know. It's just saying like you're protected, right? But then you've got the bird that's in the cage, sitting on top of the mountain. And so this is like feeling trapped and really not seeing a way out. That's what this energy is, because the mountain is an obstacle and like the bird is in the cage with the door shut, right? So the bird can't get the door open, and it's difficult to climb that mountain. So this is something where you're feeling really stuck in a situation. You don't know how to get out of it at all. You're not seeing a way out of it, but you obviously have some sort of wisdom to share, and you need to share it. You're protected. Like, don't worry, you're protected. We do have, coming into the second house in the outer ring, we do have the rune of protection, but this is also like family and inheritance, right? It is coming into the house of money. So if you're waiting for like inheritance or something, or you're waiting for money, it's with at least several months out, probably 3 or 4 months out. You do have this the star here that has what I call like the whirlwind, or the spiral in the center, which is like, it's like, it's positive energy that kind of spirals out from the center, right? Creating kind of a vortex of healing and wishes and whatever. It's all positive, right? And so that, again, that's in your second house. So, maybe this has to do with this coming out here. Like maybe you want to be generous with someone, but you kind of can't because you're waiting for something over here. And we have the sun and moon charm. You can see the moon is on the outer ring, and then the sun is right here in the center. So, and there's stars on here as well. So, this is like very positive. And Lynn, oh my God, listen, he just said something about when the moon is something, forever after all, Luke Combs. So I don't know. Interesting, all of that. You'll have to look up the words for this because I'm trying to listen to it, but I'm getting distracted. So this is very positive in terms of like money, also your values, anything that has to do with like second house, also home, because Cancer is ruling this particular house for Gemini in this chart. So Cancer is the sign that typically has to do with like security and family. So this could be like money. If you're worried about like money security, don't worry, it's coming in. It's going to be really good. In terms of communication, you have the charm that says, hold on. Come on, focus. Do as you would be done by, almost too simple, but this is all you need to get by. Geez, that took forever to get that across. And that is coming through in the house of communication. So maybe that's the wisdom that you want to share. Like you want to communicate something to someone. Could be love, because you do have the rose in this outer ring. So maybe, within 2 weeks to a month. Maybe this is saying like you need to, say, tell someone how you feel, basically. We have nothing in the fourth house, but we do have in the fifth house, we've got the wolf, which is kind of fourth house energy. At least that's how I read it. And the wolf is howling, right? You see his mouth is open. And so anytime a wolf is howling, that's about like speaking, right? This is coming into the fifth house, which is the house of like children, creativity, joy, fun, romance. And you do have the Scorpio charm with a special charm. Okay, so you could be dealing with a Scorpio, but it could be that there's like a rebirth or a renewal of some sort of romantic energy or creative energy. And then this particular charm is one of the special ones that I have in my charm bucket. It's another one that belonged to my granddaughter. So again, there's like children attached to it. Obviously, it's a toy, but this is a cup. You see that? And look at the little face on there, that big old smile. He's holding something in his hand right there, which is a spoon, right? So he's offering you some sort of treat or surprise, right? So there's some sort of treat or surprise coming in that could be attached to a Scorpio. It doesn't have to be. It could be healing as well, because this came out straddling both the fifth and sixth houses, and this is the only thing touching the sixth house, and that's the house of healing. Oh, and then we have the song Heart of Glass by Blondie playing in the background. So whatever this is, like maybe it could be an offer of love that kind of heals your heart in some way. All right. So in the 7th house, you've got the lion and the fish, but the lion is actually also in the 8th house. And interesting, you've got the dog straddling both the 8th and 9th houses. That's a lot of like animal energy, but beyond that, so the fish is like money, abundance. It's abundance of love and money, actually, right? It is sitting on top of the mutable modality. And so, you know, fish can represent Pisces, right? Pisces is a fellow mutable sign. And so there could be an abundance of like emotion that, you know, needs to be looked at, because Leo energy is the energy of like having the spotlight on you, but calling attention to something, right? But you could also be dealing with a Leo and a Pisces, like, or maybe your relationship, like maybe you and your partner take on the energy of Leo and Pisces when you are interacting with each other. Only you will know how that resonates for your own life. But like I said, this Leo energy is also straddling the 8th house, which is the house of like sex, money, inheritance, death, endings, and like rebirths. And so, you know, calling attention to all of those things. But you do have, again, the dog straddling both the 8th and 9th houses, and the dog is always positive energies, like friendship, loyalty, you know, your best friend that has your back, right? And so, you know, maybe you already know intuitively, because that was straddling the 9th house, like who that is. Interesting. I forgot. I almost didn't notice that there's an apple here in the outer ring, straddling the 5th and 6th houses. So there's some sort of wisdom coming in with this within several months. Like you might get a surprise here, but then you've got wisdom coming in within several months around romance, children, health, healing, and service, and creative pursuits as well. All right, so the 9th house, we've got the I will charm, and then we've got the rune that talks about what you need, right? But that was like this. So you're not paying attention to what you need. And then you've got I will, it upside down. So basically you won't pay attention to what you need. You refuse to pay attention to what you need. Something, only you know that how that applies to you. You do have the witch's hat coming up here between both the 9th and 10th houses. So it could be something spiritual that you need, right? And maybe it is coming in within a couple of weeks to a month, because it was here. It could be something spiritual attached to your career or reputation. Maybe it's something that scares you because of the chicken. It might scare you because of the creative aspect also that's attached to it, with Pisces being the sign that rules the 10th house in your particular chart. So, you know, Pisces is a very creative sign. So maybe you're scared to create something. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe you're afraid of abundance. I only say that because the chicken can be food, right? I don't know. Maybe you're afraid of abundance, or maybe you're afraid of success. I don't know. Take it however it resonates. For the 11th house, you've got a piece of rutilated quartz. You've got the star, and you've got the $10 bill that's straddling both the 11th and 12th houses. Okay. Actually, look at all of this energy here. This is the Capricorn charm with the guitar, and this house is the house that is ruled by Pisces naturally in a blank horoscope, okay? But you've got Pisces over here in the 10th house. The 10th house is the house that's ruled by Capricorn naturally in a blank horoscope. So with these two houses and these charms, we have this mutual reception happening, which is something that happens in a chart, right? It's something that happens in astrology. So this mutual reception, the Capricorn charm was upside down. You're not paying attention to the hard work that you need to put in. Remember all of this energy over here, like you're not paying attention to what you need. Maybe you're afraid of success. Maybe you need something spiritual, right? Maybe you're afraid of success because of like your reputation. Maybe you're afraid to be known, like your reputation to be known as like a witch. I don't know. Only you know exactly how that's going to resonate. But remember, we also said that there's like afraid of creativity. Look at this guitar over here. Are you afraid to like truly express yourself creatively because you're afraid of like what your reputation is going to be with this? Like you don't want that reputation for whatever reason. I don't know. But you do have this star straddling both houses. This is the double star. I feel like you are doubly blessed if you embrace that energy rather than being afraid of it. Face the fear, be courageous, be heroic, right? And then having the rutilated quartz in the sign of Aries in the 11th house. So, and by the way, this, I forgot to mention this $10 bill being in the reverse on top of this. It's like, I think, are you afraid that you're actually going to lose money or something? Because it came out like that with all of this. Like you're afraid of success. You're afraid you won't make money. You're afraid people are going to make fun of you. You're afraid there are going to be losses. It could be losses of people that you know, because this is the house of reputation, remember, and there is mutual reception happening there, but I don't think that's something to worry about. So rutilated quartz, rutilated quartz has to do with like hearing messages from spirit. Those messages, that's sort of what the rutilation is supposed to mean, right? It's gold that is running through this piece of quartz. Like, no shit, those are tiny little strands of gold, right? And so gold happens to correspond to the sun. And the sun happens to correspond to Apollo and Leo energy. So Apollo, if you know anything about the myth of Apollo, he is the god that he rules prophecy, right? So when we're talking, oh, and look at, we've got the song Chlorine by 21 Pilots playing in the background, and he's actually at the part where he's saying, I'm running for my life. Remember what we said about this fear of success, right? Because of speaking creatively or speaking, you know, putting your beliefs or whatever out there. You can't be afraid of that success because like, you know, this particular rutilated quartz, it's like, it's all tying back into like prophecy, witchcraft, which could be a reputation thing, like especially if there are people who are spiritually Christian and they see you as, you know, like if you're into this, obviously you're into this stuff or you wouldn't be watching me right now. So they see all of this stuff that you're into and maybe they have something to say about it, but don't worry about that. Okay, so I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help get my channel out there as I am new here. And thank you for watching. I don't know why I'm having trouble picking these all up, but whatever. Okay, let's move on to Cancer. Man, I'm only a fourth of the way through it, you guys, and it's already at an hour. Oh, I'm a third of the way through it. Look at, for Cancer, you've obviously got Scorpio and something going on over here, but hold on, we'll just keep going. I wanted to mix this up, but it just came out so easily that we're going to keep it. All right. So remember where we had the Scorpio charm come out first, but then we had this come out? I'm actually going to come from the center over to this particular house here, which is the 5th house. So here in the center, you do have money or some sort of abundance coming in. It may not be actual money. You know, it could just be something very positive. You also have the microscope and then this paying attention to the details is going to be very positive in terms of whatever it is that you're trying to do or whatever this abundance is that's coming in. Scorpio energy is the energy of like endings, but it's also the energy of like transformation. Could be something like there could be like abundance of sexual energy as well coming in for you this week, Cancer. Pay attention to the details, like if you are getting a lot of offers, like if you're very attractive and a lot of people are kind of coming in and, you know, finding you very sexy. Pay attention to the details of those offers. And then, so coming over here, I'm actually going to start for the 6th house and then work my way to the 5th house energy, because this particular rune is in the center, but also in the 6th house. I apologize. I don't know why I'm coughing suddenly, because like I've only been talking for a few minutes, but well, I guess it's an hour. I'm getting over this weird cold that I had too recently, so plus I smoke, doesn't help. Okay. All right, so oh, this particular rune is the day rune, the rune of like breakthrough. Interesting. We have the song Mercy by Shawn Mendes playing in the background. So it could be a breakthrough coming in surrounding like work or service or healing health issues for you. Although this did come out over the fire element. So this can be like a creative breakthrough in terms of work or service or healing. Also, we do have the scales of justice here. So if there was an injustice or an imbalance in those areas, it's going to, like, there's balance coming in. And there's also like protection and, you know, like inheritance coming in. Like, so when I say an inheritance, that does not always mean money. This can be gifts, skills, and abilities that you've inherited from your ancestors, because this particular rune is also about family. That's why it speaks to inheritance and protection. So maybe there's something about healing with your family, all of that kind of stuff that is coming in for you this week, healing over an injustice. But then when we come to the 5th house, the house that has to do with like children, fun, creativity, and romance, we've got the wishes do come true charm. We've got the candy cane, which is like a Christmas treat, right? We have the purse that fell in the upright. It is open, but it's in the upright, which tells me like, I do feel like money coming in, because you do have the $10 bill in the upright as well. So it's like open because you're putting money into it, right? And then straddling, and that was straddling both the 5th and 4th houses, which is the house that has to do with like security, home, and finance. Well, not finance, security, home, and family. I don't know why I almost said finance, but maybe this is finance for you, because we do have the purse again. We do have the dolphin in that house, so there's joy coming in for you. And then we have the starfish. So the starfish is about being recognized, but the starfish was like upside down. So I think this is like, you've been like, this is a wish of wanting to be recognized, right? Like maybe you're finally going to be recognized or something. And like, maybe that's where this abundance is coming in, why the purse is upright. That's just how it feels to me, because of this joy. Like whatever this is, it's not a bad thing. There's joy coming in for you. And the starfish is almost always a good charm. Even if it's like upside down like this, it just means it's not being recognized, because that's what the starfish is all about. Recognition, stardom, you know, standing out, beauty, all of that stuff, right? So you're not being recognized for all of these things or for something when it comes to your creativity, your romantic life, you know, your kids, whatever, your security and your family. All right. Whew. So now, interesting, we have the song Our Lips Are Sealed by the Go-Go's playing in the background. So we're going to come over to the first house, which there's not a whole lot happening this week, but we do have this particular piece of quartz here between the first and 12th houses. So I feel like you don't see your own strength. You don't see your own royalty or something, because this, I always say that this piece of quartz is my scepter quartz, even though it's not a scepter quartz. It has the energy of royalty or leadership attached to it. So maybe you don't see your own leadership abilities, but maybe you will. Oh, look at, you've got some sort of collaboration and cooperation coming in within a couple of months, but it might be like one-sided, because that 3 is only on one side of the domino. So it's imbalanced, and it did come out like this, right? Maybe there's something going on with like friends or people around you gossiping, something that they're saying that maybe you don't like so much. We do have the rune of fate. This is the cup, right? And so this is like, it literally, it's like fortune or fate. It's like the cup, it kind of takes on the energy of, you know, tossing the lots, which is basically what the charms are, right? This is the fate, but it's fate coming in, you know, almost like a year out because of where it fell on the table. You don't have anything coming into the money house, but we did see some abundance coming in here and here. So that doesn't mean that there's nothing there. There's nothing in the communication house, but we already saw over here that it is possible to have healing in that area as well. When it comes to partnerships, you do have this star with the spiral in the center. So the star energy is always about like healing. This could be healing that kind of spirals out to, you know, the people around you. This is the house that deals with others, the other people in your life. So again, all of this healing that's happening around romance or kids or whatever can actually spiral out to the rest of your relationships and partnerships, including business partnerships. We don't have it really anything particularly in the 8th house, but we do have the moon straddling the 8th and 9th houses. So this has to do with like inheritance and other people's money. And the only reason that I'm only focusing on that aspect of the 8th house is because we do have the tree in the 9th house that came out upside down. We're facing the board. So the tree to me means family and your roots, especially when it falls in the 9th house. This is like the family traditions that you've learned or that you have inherited, like maybe emotional traditions or family traditions that are really positive that you've inherited from your family that maybe you've been ignoring in some way that you know is not healthy for you. We have, oh, look at in the 10th house of reputation, we have the moon and heart that came out upside down like that. So again, this is emotional energy that is being ignored for some reason. And then we do have the Once Upon a Time book in the same house. Now this is the 10th house that has to do with like your reputation, your career, your public life, right? Maybe the way that you feel about something or your particular story is being like whatever you have to say somehow is being ignored or not seen, not recognized, not acknowledged. We do have the song How Did You Love by Shinedown playing in the background, which totally plays in with this particular. Like maybe you have a reputation for not being as compassionate as you could be, or maybe you would like to change that reputation because of this particular charm, telling a new story, right? Becoming more compassionate. Take that however it resonates. In the 11th house, we do have the Libra charm. So this is the house of like your community, your social circle, any special groups that you belong to, your extended family, and the people that you network in terms of your employment and your job. And the interesting thing is, we're talking to Cancer. We have your charm coming into the outer ring here. So this is, if it's not you coming in to deal with a Libra, and by the way, the Libra might be being unfair or unjust, because this particular term came out like that. And so that's Libra. Like, you could be dealing with a Libra, but you do not have to be. This could just be someone who is being unfair or unjust. Maybe they're not looking at the true fairness of a situation, right? And so when you have the energy of Cancer, this is the energy of security, home, family, comfort, all of those things, right? And so this was coming in the 2 weeks to a month. So maybe if there's some sort of unfairness or imbalance in your social circle, you'll be feeling the comfort and the care and the love and the security within a month. You do have the number 6 domino. And so this is a 6 and a 0, and the number 6 does talk about love, right? And we have the song, How Did You Love, playing in the background as we're talking about this particular house. So this is a confirmation of love needs to be at the center of everything. Love and compassion are more important than anything else right now. Oh, I missed something that I just saw. In the outer ring here for the 3rd house of communication, several months out, there is something in terms, you'll hear communication, you'll learn something, somebody's going to say something that is going to be a problem for you. You're going to see it as a thorn in your side. That's what this particular rune means. If it would focus, it means thorn, something that is painful or a problem, okay? So now for the 12th house, we have the Queen and a piece of citrine, but the Queen is facing the cloth rather than her public, right? So are you trying to hide from the public in some way? Are you trying to hide from your abundance in some way because of the citrine? That's what the citrine is about. It's about abundance and money, really. Because of the color, it's supposed to attract money, right? It's also about your willpower, use your solar plexus. And so to have the Queen come out like this, she's hiding from her public, right? And you can see that says something, hold on, be a queen is what it says, be a queen. So if you're not being a queen, you're being called upon to be a queen, be abundant. Gemini is the sign that rules communication. So maybe you're being called on to communicate in some way that will be abundant for you. Maybe you just don't see it at this time because this is the 12th house. Also, this is the house of like, it's one of the houses of ill fortune. And I'm not saying that there's ill fortune, but this can be like hidden enemies, enemies that you don't see, because again, it's the 12th house, what you don't see coming. So it could be that there's someone who is, you know, especially if you have all of this energy over here where someone's being unfair, okay, in your community, in your social circle. Maybe this is a person that isn't really your friend and you just don't see it, and it's time you're being called upon to actually face it and be a queen, hold yourself to a higher standard, basically, I think is what that's saying. Especially if this is a conflict and it comes in with this thorn, although this comes in before the thorn does, right? So maybe there's something where you're being called on to be a queen here, but then later, you know, several months later, you learn some information that doesn't sit well with you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and leave that here. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help get my channel out there, as I am new here. And thank you for watching. All right, let's move on to Leo. Oh. Man, I may have to stop listening to my, I don't know that the battery was low on my earbuds. And I don't know if the music is going to come through on the video if I turn my earbuds off and just let my phone play. I mean, I guess I could try it and hope that it doesn't come through too much so that I get in trouble on YouTube. But anyway, I don't know if we're going to have music for the last half of the readings, and I apologize to that if anyone is disappointed by that. All right, so let's go ahead and read for Leo. You know, interesting, I just realized we might lose the music, and Leo is literally the sign that rules music, okay? So that might be a message for you. We also have the song Wasted by Carrie Underwood playing in the background. All right, so very interesting. I want to start off by saying that I have a couple of charms in my charm bucket that are special to me for, you know, specific reasons, whether they belonged to someone important, they were given to me by someone important, whatever the case may be. You happen to have one of them in the very center of your reading, which is the owl. So this particular owl belonged to my grandmother or granddaughter. I don't know why I keep saying grandmother. That could be, it could be that your grandmother is coming in to school you about something, quite literally, because this owl, you see the pencil on top of the owl's head? This is like one of the little extra pieces that these toys have, right? And so this particular owl talks about going back to school or being schooled, learning your lesson, gaining wisdom in some way, especially with this song Wasted playing in the background, right? Maybe it's time to grow up, right? And this could have to do with like your children or your grandchildren, again, because like I said, this is a toy that belonged to my granddaughter. We also have the whirlwind and the ring. So if this has to do with a relationship that you are trying to, you know, maybe trying to either start or save, I don't know. Only you will know. It's a, you know, that's something that you have to intuit for yourself. But this particular charm here talks about like very chaotic energy, very, very chaotic energy. But also when wisdom comes in, it's probably going to come in real fast and hard, and it's going to feel chaotic. And there could be some sort of promise, contract, relationship, because the ring, you know, think about that, like literally a promise or a contract or something, some sort of promise, or maybe you made a promise to someone and now, you know, it's time to pay up. You know, take it however it resonates. Okay, so coming to the first house, well, actually, let's start with the 12th house because we have the broom there. So there's something that is either a nightmare for you or, you know, something that maybe you don't see it as a problem, but more than likely it is absolutely a problem. And I say that because anytime we have the broom, that means that there's something that needs to be cleaned away, something that needs to be gotten rid of, swept away. You need to clean and clear something out, right? That's what a broom does. It's a cleaning tool. So there's something toxic that needs to be swept away from your life that you're not seeing right now. Or you might just now be coming into the realization of it, okay? We do have the number 9 domino in the first house. So again, it's an ending, right? That's what the number 9 represents, but this is made up of the 5 and the 4. So changes around your security, home, and family. But these are changes, like it's an ending that's going to change things with your security, home, and family. You do have the charm that says be kind, be peaceful, be brave, be happy, be thankful, be compassionate, be true, be free, right? Be strong. That came out like this. So I feel like you are avoiding doing those things, and you need to do those things. And then we have, you've got the number 2 domino in the outer ring. So several months out to a year, there is some sort of support or partnership coming in for you, as we saw over here. So this is basically confirming this energy over here, but this is saying for right now, there's chaos in a relationship that's going to bring a lot of wisdom, but this partnership Like, and possibly even an ending because of this over here. It's possibly even an ending in whatever relationship you're in now, but there's another relationship coming several months to a year out. So all of this energy is there to clear it. This energy here is to clear away all of this bad stuff so that you can be compassionate, be kind, be free, be true, be whatever, right? And also, I just want to point out, we're on a commercial break. This is the first commercial break that's actually caught my attention in the middle of a reading. Like the last one that happened literally happened between readings. So having a commercial break as I'm talking about chaos in a relationship tells me this relationship is absolutely ending for you. Okay. So just, I apologize. Take that however it resonates for your life. You should know which relationship already that I'm talking about, especially if you're here watching this reading. Okay, so for the second house, we don't really have anything happening there, but for the third house, we do have the I love you star. So this is like healing, right? Healing words, because it does say I love you on it, and especially being in the third house. So this is, communication that will heal things. We do have this sun and moon charm straddling both third and fourth houses. So this is communication with family, talking to family, saying what needs to be said. That's how you're going to heal things. Also, we have for the fourth house, which has to do with security, family, home, we have the hourglass and the dollar bill. So there's going to be some sort of loss around the home. It's like just a matter of time, basically. It's a matter of time before you have to spend some money as well, or before you have to, or before there's like the expense attached to something, right? It's just a matter of time. Like you're going to have to give something away, obviously, especially if it has to do with communication. You have to speak up. So in the fifth house, there's not really anything except for this energy here. And so the fifth house has to do with like creativity, romance, children, joy, happiness, all that kind of stuff. And then we have this ship straddling the fifth and sixth houses. And so also we have the song Sunflower by Post Malone playing in the background. And so the ship talks about like moving on, travel. It's like a journey, a long distance journey, or it's been a long time coming, a journey towards peace as well, because we do have the peace charm that came up with this cruise ship, right? Like you could be traveling, but this is like you could be traveling for work, but I don't think so. I think this journey towards healing, this journey towards speaking up, whatever, has been a long time coming. This journey towards peace has been a long time coming, and it's cost you quite a bit, actually. When it comes to relationships, we have the Aries charm. So you could be dealing with an Aries. In the house of the eighth house, which is the house of like endings, other people's money, sex, that type of thing, inheritance. You do have the seahorse here. So because this is the house of like inheritance, and the seahorse, every time I see it, I think of like father, like divine masculine father energy, because what stands out the most to me about a seahorse is that it is the male that tends to take care of the children. So having that coming in this house, this can be talking about like your father is going to be probably supportive for you, or there's something about like your father will help you financially, something about this, okay? Your father, something. In the ninth house, we have made with love and the cross. So I feel like that's just saying like, keep the faith, right? Don't lose your faith. Like, stay strong. Also, this talks about your own personal faith, right? Use your own personal faith to your advantage. And then interesting, the song Tantrum by Ashnika was playing in the background. Yeah. And it was just saying something about, ooh, mom and dad, I did something bad. And then she goes on with like, I got a heart like an eggshell, something, throw a tantrum. I can't hear all the words are going so fast, but yeah. So maybe this is about like, your own personal faith. Maybe you need to have faith and treat your, like you have to have love as the core of it. I don't know. Take it however it resonates. But it is tight. We were just talking about this divine masculine father energy here, and then she said what she said in there. So it's like keep the faith. I don't know. However, that's keep the faith about maybe a tantrum that you've thrown. This is the sign of Leo, and Leo can be a little bit, you know, they roar, like lions like to roar, right? That's the energy of a lion. So maybe you got upset about something and you're like need to apologize. I don't know. When it comes to reputation and career and your public persona, you've got the dolphin, which is joyful, happy energy. You've got Sagittarius, which is also more joyful, happy energy. You've got the lion, but the lion is in the reverse. So the lion, or, you know, Leo is typically ruled by the sun. It owns the 5th house in astrology, which is the house of happiness, joy, creativity, children, romance, fun. You know, it's interesting too that all of this talks about like being happy with but the lion was like this. So maybe there's something about your creative, or maybe you're known as being mostly happy. But you might like have a little bit of depression going on or something. That's just how it comes out to me. I don't know, take it however it resonates. This does not feel like career energy. This actually feels like reputation and public persona energy, right? Like, how does the public see you? I think they're seeing you as generally overall happy, but maybe a little bit depressed, or like there's something wrong. We do have the palm fronds in the 11th house, so maybe you need to reach out and ask for help. This is coming out over the error element, so, you know, that's communication. So ask your friends for help. And then we have a blank domino coming out in the outer ring. And so that's kind of like, it's like explore the possibilities. You never, like, definitely reach out and ask for help, because you never know. Like, maybe you just never know. There could be some sort of surprise coming in within a couple of months, like maybe 3 or 4 months, because it landed right here. Okay, so I hope that, oh wait, I missed one. In the 8th house, you've got all the way out here in the outer ring, so at least a couple of years. There's something about dressing for success, taking care with your appearance. Maybe there is some success or a job or something happening within a couple of years. Just take that however it resonates. All right, so if that does not resonate, please stick around and there'll be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help me get the channel out there, as I'm new here. And thank you for watching. And by the way, Leo, we do have the song Love Brand New by Bob Moses playing in the background. All right, so Virgo. All right. Interesting, Virgo, you got both $100 bills. One of them is kind of straddling the center, but it's also between the 6th and 7th houses. So these are well, actually all of the money is really in the 5th, 6th, and 7th houses, right? But we do have the car upside down. We're going to talk about that in a second. I'm actually going to focus everything right here because, you know, it's just interesting to me. This is like a lot of abundance coming in for Virgo. Could be money, does not have to be. And I say that because this is the house that deals with like service. It can be work. It can be like how you spend your time each day, right? But it can also have to do with like health. So if you have questions about your health, there's something very positive coming in. Now, there's no movement, okay? no movement at all. It could be, I'm so sorry, I don't know, like, be very careful with the car upside down. Like maybe you've had an accident already, like, but if you haven't, be very, very careful, especially with the astrology the way that it is right now. Like Jupiter and Mars and Aries, I've seen so many people driving super, super fast, and I've already seen and heard about a number of car accidents. So just be aware of that, be careful of that. But like if you have a car that you can sell, you might, like maybe if you're looking to earn money or you're looking for money, there could be attached to a car accident, something that wasn't going anywhere before. Like maybe there's now suddenly going to be some abundance coming in from that. We have the song Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD playing in the background. So in the 5th house, we have the purse upside down. And so I feel like with the purse upside down like that, I actually feel like it's empty, to be honest with you. So it's empty, but this is in like the house of like creativity, children. So it could be that like maybe you're spending money on a car, even though like typically I would not see this as spending money on a car, but the way this is all sitting together, like maybe there's something that happens and you've got to spend some money on a car. I don't know why. I'm just reading it that way. It's just go with it. We do have in the 7th house this particular piece of bloodstone, which is the gray, red, and black bloodstone. And so this, when I get this particular piece of bloodstone, it makes me think of like toxins that need to be removed. So it could be that there is a partner or a relationship or a person in your life that is toxic and needs to be removed. Or something that's toxic and needs to be removed. Now, one thing that I do want to say, interesting. Okay, so this is like, it could be like maybe it has to do with a relationship, like a romantic relationship, that a toxic one that needs to be removed because maybe you've expended too much energy on this relationship. Okay, especially because what he's saying in the background, like I can't take back the love that I gave you, blah blah blah. Okay. All right, so let's come over here to the 1st house. So we only really have in the 1st house the sun, the sun who's like blowing wind, right? Who's like, he's clearing away the clouds, right? So this is clarity coming in. The sun's coming up over the horizon. You can see his face, he's like blowing the air, right? So like for you personally, the confusion is going to go away, especially because this Walking Dead charm is kind of straddling both houses. Like it feels like you're dead on your feet from work because you have the Capricorn charm here in the 2nd house, which is the house of money. Like maybe you've put in so much work, right? And you just kind of feel dead on your feet, and it's causing some confusion, and maybe by the month's end that confusion is going to start clearing. We do have the tree charm that fell in the outer ring, but it fell upside down, and so this, I always see it as like roots and family, or at least roots, like having a strong root system to keep you anchored, right? And so when it comes into the house of like money and values, you know, that can be a strong savings account or like retirement account. And if it's values, this can be the values that you've learned from your family, but you're ignoring them. Maybe you're not paying attention to it for some reason, and you should be. Or maybe, I don't know, just it's something by month's end happening to where that you should be paying attention to the roots or the foundation of something, possibly that has to do with money or your value system. All right. Okay, so in the 3rd house, we have the number 4 domino. So the number 4 has to do with like security, home, and family, right? You know, things being very, a strong foundation. And so coming into the house of like communication, maybe you need to speak with your family because of what's happening over here about what you, to bring security back into the situation. We do have in the fourth house the rune that has the hail rune, right? This is it's like the rune of the unexpected. It's kind of like getting the Tower card when you get this particular rune, because hail storms usually come out of nowhere, and that's what this is, the hailstorm rune. So it's a weather, like an unexpected chaotic weather pattern that's coming in to affect your family or your security in some way. Could be attached to an Aries because you had the Aries charm here, or just fire in particular, maybe a new beginning. You do have another sun and moon charm. So this is like a relationship between like a balancing, because the sun and moon is both masculine and feminine. So it could be a balancing of like security or family in some way. When you come to the eighth house, there's some measurement and planning that needs to take place, especially if you're looking at your finances with all of this energy over here in the second house, right? Like you're going to need to structure and plan things very carefully. In the ninth house, we do have the Made with Love charm upside down. So like the ninth house has to do with your higher self, your spiritual awareness, your higher education, also like governments and institutions, right? So there's no love. Like all of this stuff has not been created with love because this was upside down. Especially because Taurus rules this house for you. Taurus is a very creative energy. And so maybe your traditions, your belief system was not created from a place of love, or there's no, like, you're not paying attention to the love that's there, maybe, and you need to. So when we come into the 10th house, which has to do with like career and reputation, we have the rune of strength, or the ox, in the upside down. So maybe your reputation, your career are not doing so well right now. There's like a weakness attached to it. You do have Gemini ruling this particular house for you specifically, meaning communication, like your communication is weak right now, which actually makes sense because of all the energy that we already spoke of over here. Now, in the 11th house, that has to do with like your community, the people that you socialize with and network with, we have the eagle that came out in this way. So there's like, you're feeling trapped in some way because eagles represent freedom, right? Also, keen eyesight and vision and perception. So you're not seeing something clearly, you're feeling trapped, there's no freedom, there's like some issues there. If this would just, there we go. So that's like within a month, there may be an issue there. Yeah, okay, so that's the end of it. I'm going to leave that there. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Just in closing, I do want to say that we do have the song Daisy by Ashniko playing in the background. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help me get my channel out there, as I am new here, and I thank you for watching. All right, so we are going to move on to Libra now. Sorry. Interesting. So Libra, you don't really have anything in the center. However, you do have your own charm is coming out right here in the 5th house, which is the house that's ruled by Leo. And you happen to have the lion kind of sitting in both the 6th house, but it's also in the 5th house, right? So the lion, or Leo energy, is the energy that would rule this house naturally, all right? So that your charm is is upside down. It's facing the board, which means there's some sort of imbalance or unfairness or unjust action that's happening around either children, creativity, fun, romance, joy, all of that kind of stuff, right? Or this is you feeling like things are unfair and unjust in this particular area. But the sixth house has to do with like healing, being of service, your work, how you spend your time each day. And this lion, his face is like, it's literally pointing towards the Libra scales, right? So lions like to roar, and to have his face pointed that way, I always see this lion as roaring, right? So that means there's like, maybe you're spending your time each day roaring or crying about this unfairness or imbalance, right? And you're kind of hopping from one thing to the other because of the kangaroo. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Like you're hopping from one thing to the other, and I think that that's kind of what's preventing you from actually really healing, or like you're not sitting in one place too long, possibly because of the emotional aspect attached to whatever this is. There is a toxicity here that needs to be dealt with, or maybe you'll become aware of it within a couple of weeks to a month. And then we have the shirt upside down, right? So if the shirt is in the upright, I always kind of feel like it's talking about like, well, this particular shirt looks like a Hawaiian shirt, so it makes me feel like vacation, rest, having fun. Also silliness, because I always see these shirts as silly whenever men wear them. Like, I just never understand, especially when men wear them like every single day. I just never understand the really brightly colored shirts, but that's just me personally. I personally attach a little bit of silliness to these types of shirts, right? When it's in the reverse, it's like giving the shirt off your back. Like that's how generous you are. It's like giving the shirt off your back, or taking that shirt off, getting rid of the silliness, or also shaking off that sense of peace. Take it however it resonates for you. And that's coming in within like, and by the way, we have the song Take It Easy by the Eagles playing in the background. I remember where I was saying like hopping from one place to the next, and you need to kind of sit in one place. Take it easy with that. Also, maybe you need to take it easy this week, because in the next 2 weeks to a month you won't be able to, right? Because remember when I said it's in the upright, it's like vacation energy, right? Because it is a Hawaiian shirt, so it's like peaceful, fun energy. Well, no longer when it's like this. So take your rest while you can now. Take your healing while you have a chance. All right. So now we're going to come over to your first house. And you do have the sun. So there's some clarity coming in for you, but you're ignoring it because it was like this. You're not paying attention to it. It is clarity in the form of communication, because it did come out over the air element. And you do have the music symbol in your outer ring. So, this clarity could be something creative, something that brings harmony. I actually feel like it's going to bring harmony because of this symbol right here. I don't know. It's going to bring harmony. I feel like to you personally, some sort of harmony for you personally, right? Or maybe it's harmony, being in sync with someone else. Like this clarity will help you to harmonize with someone else. Okay, so we're going to move on to the second house. We have the charm that says, I will hold you in my heart until I hold you in heaven. Again, this is something you're ignoring. Why? Right? It came out like that, but this is what it actually says. So why are you not paying attention to this? I feel like this is a message that you are ignoring. Something that you would value, even because this is coming into the house of value and valuables. Also, Scorpio rules this particular house for you, and Scorpio, this particular charm speaks to a passed on loved one. Scorpio is the sign that rules the house of death. So that is a further confirmation that you have a passed on loved one that is trying to send you messages of love that you have been ignoring. In the house of communication, we have the Eye of Horus, which is all about like sun and clarity energy, right? Remember where we said it here? There's some sort of communication coming in, or clarity that's coming in, that's probably in the form of communication that you aren't seeing yet, or you haven't paid attention to it. So you've got that coming in. It's being confirmed again here in the house of communication. It's something that has to do with like security, family, foundation, your home. It's also, you've got this, the $100 bill in the reverse. So there have been a lot of losses surrounding all of this energy, probably losses around home and family. But you do have the number 3 domino that came out. So this is like cooperation for a new beginning, because that's what the numbers 2 and 1 represent. But when you add them together, it is collaboration. So that cooperation for this new beginning is going to be a collaboration. It's coming in terms of the houses of communication and foundation, family, right? So if you're trying to collaborate, oh, look at, you've got the number 12 domino, or the double 6 domino in the outer ring. Now it was upside down, meaning you're ignoring it or you're not seeing it yet, but it is coming in, something very positive, probably within several months. And then you look at that partnership and collaboration you're looking for, the number 2 domino, which is 2 people coming together, or 2 things coming together, again within several months, probably 4 to 5 months, because of where they landed out here. And this has to do with like family, security, communication, and foundation. We already spoke of this energy. We're gonna, here in your outer ring for the 6th house, you also have the rune of protection, family, and inheritance. So, again, this kind of calls into like all of this over here. So there's some sort of clarity coming in over that, and that's coming into the 6th house. So that whatever this is, it's healing over your protection, healing and protection over your family. Probably within several months to a year. It could even be like inheritance or something, some sort of financial support from family, or like support from family coming in. Sorry, I have the hiccups. So in the 7th house, we have some interesting charms. We've already spoken about all of the energy that you have down here for home and family. And look, you've got the house coming into the 7th and 8th houses. So this particular house over here, the 7th house, is the house that deals with others. This can be your spouse. This can be your business partners. This can be any of the other people that you deal with, but this can also be those people who are open enemies that you know are there, that don't like you, that are against you, right? Interesting that we have the song I Miss the Misery by Hailstorm playing in the background. So having the house come out, in the house that deals with others, and you've got all of this energy over here that deals with family, right? Home and security. This is what's happening around your home with others, right? You've got wishes do come true, and you've got the mountain. So you're going to absolutely overcome some obstacle that has to do with like home and family and your relationships with others. Ooh. Man, my earbuds just died. I don't know if that's like really loud on the video, but I know that if it was loud, that would definitely get me in trouble on YouTube, because I don't have the rights to the music. So I'm going to keep it on really, really low so that you guys can't hear it. Only I can, hopefully. Pray that it actually works. Oh, goody. Now my bird is going to chime in. He's been so nice since his outburst in the beginning of the video. Okay, where was I? So there's some sort of wish coming true. And you know what's interesting too is that that I was speaking about all of that and getting ready to come over here to the 8th house, which is the house that has to do with like death, sex, inheritance, endings, rebirth, right? So new beginnings as well. So this is like a new beginning in family, right? It could be even surrounding like either your ancestry or children, because remember we talked about that with all of this energy over here. Because to me, the dinosaur, because this particular dinosaur always makes me think of dinosaur toys, right? I don't know why, but it also makes me think of things that are ancient, you know, because dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. But this particular dinosaur was a vegetarian. It was a plant eater. Come on, focus. Oh my God, focus. There we go. See? So, you know, long-term ancestry, right? And so, but again, every time I see this particular dinosaur, I get that feeling of children attached to it. So, you know, there could be something about like a new beginning, a rebirth, something that has to do with children, especially if there's a health issue over here. All right, so we've got the number 10 domino, which was upside down like that. You saw me flip it over like this, right? So, you know, the number 10 has to do with like a new beginning, right? It's like abundance. It's like the wheel of fortune, right? 10 is a good number. But then when you add the numbers 6 and 4 to that, it comes along, it has to do with like love or money with the 6, and then security and family with the 4. So you've had a lot that came through that has to do with like home, family, and security. Every time we've got the 4th house, any energy in the 4th house, anything that comes through that's energy of Cancer, or like this particular thing right here with the house, you've got all of the stuff that's coming through about kids, right? And so, you know, home and family, it's just, it keeps getting, you know, confirmed over and over and over. You've got the key coming out in the 9th house, which is the house that has to do with like your subconscious, your higher self, right? Higher education, higher authority, everything that's from a higher perspective. And the keys are always solutions, right? This particular key happens to look like it's got like a clover on top of it, or a club, right? Like if you were looking at cards, like the suit of clubs would correspond to wands. So I feel like this is a spiritual solution or a spiritual answer, right? The key to your problem is spiritual, especially because it came in the 9th house, which is the house of spirituality. It's in the sign of Gemini, which is, you know, all about communication and the higher mind, also education, because Gemini is the 9th house. It's like the natural opposite. So, you know, there's a mutual reception happening between these two houses, right? Always, anytime. But you've got Gemini ruling this house, which is normally ruled by Sagittarius. And so Sagittarius is down here in the 3rd house, right? So basically how this is happening for you is this is a natural mutual reception between these two houses, because in a blank astrology chart that is not cast for Libra, right, this house would be ruled by Sagittarius, this house would be ruled by Gemini, and you've got it backwards here. So you need to learn something, right? You need to study something that has to do with like spiritual answers. The key comes from your spiritual self, all right? So when it comes to your reputation, your career, your public persona, your public image, you have Taurus in the reverse. So you could be dealing with a Taurus, you know, but Taurus energy is energy of like building, right? It's the energy of like the Empress, the mother, fertility, right? Cows, or, you know, well, the bull, first of all, you know, he is like the meat, basically. I hate to say it that way, but if you talk about agriculture, right, isn't the bull, he can be the stud too, as well, to be the one to like impregnate the cow, I don't know what the female cows, forgive me, whatever they're called, you know what I'm talking about. But like so you know, typically this is feminine energy. Even though this is a bull, it's always feminine creative energy. So when you look at it in terms of the bull has to impregnate the mare in order for the empress to become pregnant, right? You can't become pregnant without the mare or the bull. I don't know why I said mare. Forgive me. That's like a horse reference, dude. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is there's no creativity here. You're not building. There's no fertility as well. God, my bird hates me. I apologize for this, for him. He's upset with me, but I have to work. I don't know what to tell him. He's just going to have to deal. You also have the cherries, which is like rebirth energy. So if you're dealing with a Taurus and maybe the Taurus is not all that happy, or there's no fertility or building or whatever in this relationship, or if this has to do with your career or whatever, there's like a rebirth happening around it. Also, if this is a fertility issue, right? And then there's a rebirth coming around it. When it comes to the 11th house, that has to do with like your community, your friends, your social circle, the people that you network with. You have the circus, and it is in the upright, which means you are entering the circus when it comes to the people around you, your community, your social circle. It's getting ready to get chaotic and to kind of take on the flavor of a circus, but circuses can be fun, right? They're meant to be entertaining. You don't see this coming because it was straddling both the 11th and 12th houses, but it will be entertaining. It will be fun. It will be a wild ride, obviously. But you do have another $100 bill. So you've got both of the $100 bills, and they both came out in the reverse, which is very interesting because Virgo, which was directly before you, had both $100 bills that came out in the upright. So this one came out in the reverse up here. There could be some losses in terms of your social circle, and it could be a big loss. And that could be maybe by the end of the month. So just be prepared for that, and I apologize for that. And I think maybe you don't see it coming. And that could be the reason why this circus is here. But at least right now, you're having a good time. Everything is good. But by the end of the month, there could be a loss that maybe hits you hard. We do have the song Wrecked by Imagine Dragons playing in the background. Okay, so I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can to help me get my channel out there, as I am new here. And I thank you for watching. Let's move on to Scorpio. Oh. Oh my God, we're already 2 hours in and I still have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 readings. You guys, this is going to take forever. All right. I'm getting tired already. This is the reason I hate doing all signs readings, because they always just take forever. So whatever. We're going to keep doing it because I actually like them. Once I watch them back in the editing, I'm like, damn, I got to keep doing that. So we're going to keep doing it, even if it's hard. We don't care. All right. Oh, damn it. Okay, so we do have the love charm that tried to jump off the table. I don't know what's going on with Scorpio, but you could be losing some love. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know, like maybe, I don't know. It came out in this direction. From like the 5th house, which is the house of either children, romance, creativity, joy. So like maybe there could be something happening where there's like a distance happening between you and either, because it has to do with love. It could be either a creative pursuit where maybe you're not as popular, or maybe you're losing popularity. I don't know. It could be your children are unhappy with you, or there could be a split in a romantic relationship. So take it however it resonates for you. All right. So we're going to actually, hold on. We're going to head up here. We're going to start up here, actually, because if we look at all the charms, what you kind of can't see is that we have some charms that fell off up here. And so the majority of what did fall kind of came in this direction, even though that love fell off in this direction over here. So This is the 10th house, which is the house that has to do with like career, reputation, your public image, your public persona, all of that kind of stuff, right? And so this is what you are known for, right? So we have a leaf, we have a dolphin, we have the key, we have the angel that's actually kind of falling off of the board. We have another key, which is the open heart key, and then we have another love charm up here that you actually cannot see. So, even though I think you may be either losing a person or losing some love in some kind of way, we already discussed the different options of how that could be, especially if it's like in your reputation, right? There's still more love coming in here in the outer ring. It's you know, it's at least a month or more, like a couple of months out, because it's just past this cloth. But I think basically you're known for like finding solutions, finding answers, possibly even like you have a very supportive sort of like, you know, angel kind of like people would see you as an angel in some way, like very helpful, very supportive, very, especially when it comes to like the end of the week, right? Because this is talking about this week, right? So you're coming up with solutions. You're kind of happy-go-lucky, joyful. The leaf is like energy of changes, right? So you're kind of joyful, happy, like especially with the two keys, like solutions, changes. Like maybe you have a reputation for going with the flow, being easygoing, which is very odd for a Scorpio, I'm not going to lie. This can be sun, moon, rising, by the way. I don't know if I said that at the very, very beginning of this video, but, you know, Scorpios are kind of known for being, you know, very controlling and set in their ways, right? Like not all Scorpios, it really depends on the rest of your astrology, but, you know, to have this very supportive, like, you know, changeable, especially because this particular leaf came out on top of like the sun and the fixed area of the Leo house, right? So both Leo and Scorpio are fixed signs, which means they're both very set in their ways, right? So to have the leaf come out, meaning that, you know, leaves talk about falling or changes, right? They only fall because it's time for like they fall during fall. That's why it's called fall. And it's the leaves change color before they fall, right? So something is changing in your reputation. You could lose some love from some people. You're going to gain some love as well within a couple of months. But I think you're going to be seen as being flexible where you normally wouldn't be. And I think that's going to be to your advantage. So that's kind of the general reading of, or the general message of your reading. So now let's come to the first house. Now, we have the song Slumber Party by Ashaniko playing in the background. And in the first house, you've got the moon upside down. This is my Goodnight Moon charm. I didn't recognize it until I turned it over because it came out. Well, first of all, let me get you to see what he looks like. So he's got his nightcap on, right? He's going to bed. This is it kind of reminds me of the book Goodnight Moon, but it came out like this. So to me, like, you know, when it's upright like this, it kind of brings images of comfort and peace, right? I'm sleeping well. But if it's in the reverse, maybe you're not sleeping so well. Maybe there's something going on that you're either nervous about. But I do have to say one thing. We've got a lot of stars. 1, 2, 3 stars that came out in this particular reading. And so that's actually very good. Stars are very positive energy. It's like recognition. It's like being a star, like being seen as a star, especially if you're being very flexible where you normally wouldn't be, right? You know, and you know, if you're nervous and worried about something and yet you're, you know, like it's anxiety, but words, like this particular star says I love you on it. So this is like healing words, because stars always represent healing or recognition, right? Again, you could have recognition over being very flexible where you normally wouldn't be, because this is energy that's affecting you personally. When it comes to your money, there's actually more star energy. This is the double star energy. So it's like double good, double recognition, you know, doing really, really good, getting 2 gold stars, like you passed the test, like really positive energy. You know, in terms of money and values. And then when it comes to like your communication, we've got the umbrella upside down. And so when the umbrella, if you're holding an umbrella this way, it's not going to protect you from anything, right? You have to hold it the correct way. Fucking bird. Anyway, you have to hold it the correct way in order to be protected from the rain. Now, when we talk about rain in terms of communication, that's obviously going to be something emotional. So especially over here, if you're dealing with an emotional situation that has you nervous or worried in some way, right? You know, don't worry. Like, you know, turn the umbrella upright, use it to your advantage, right? It's saying, you know, there's definitely going to be some losses, but like you have to protect yourself emotionally. Then in the 4th house, we have another star. This one is got the spiral in the center. So I kind of feel like this is the energy of like healing and recognition and all good things that kind of spiral out from the center, but can also be very chaotic, right? Chaotic healing, something chaotic happening around the house, around the home and family and security. But you do have the palm fronds and the witch's hat here in the outer ring. So the witch's hat speaks of like magic, and the palm fronds speak to like either, you know, reaching out the hands of like peace or whatever, reaching out to offer help and comfort. To, you know, that's going to be the magic that brings this healing into your home, family, and security, even though everything is chaotic right now. Or maybe somebody else is going to reach out to help you, and like it'll be kind of magical or whatever. I don't know. The 5th house doesn't really have anything, but we talked about that already. For the 6th house, as well as the center of your reading, we do have the bat. So this house talks about healing. And it also talks about like, you know, being of service, right? Intuition. And so bats use echolocation. It's very intuitive. And so like, I feel like this is saying, you know, intuitively how to be of service and how to heal. But again, there's going to be some sort of expenses. So if this is talking about work, like you intuitively already know what's going on, what you need to do in work, and that you know that there are going to be some losses. But if this is in terms of like healing anything else over here, right? Especially healing communication and all of this energy up here, love lost, love earned. You know, obviously this is saying that there's something that's going to be, you know, there's some expense or some loss, but it's not huge, but it's also a change, right? Like, because 5s always represent change. I forgot to bring that up, right? 5s always represent change. So it's a change that you see as a loss that you may need to heal over or may need to get over in some way. So for the 7th house, we do have the lighthouse. There is some sort of like direction coming in, but we also have the Gemini charm. You could be dealing with a Gemini, and it also that because this is the 7th and 8th houses, especially if it's dealing with like a relationship, this is like the relationship itself, and this is like the sexual aspect of the relationship, like if it's a marriage, right? But it can also be endings, especially because with Gemini energy, this is the energy of the twins or 2 people, right? We're already talking about the house of others. Again, this is just more confirmation that there may be an ending in a relationship, love lost, as we said before, but there is more love coming in, and you will see which direction to go. You know, you will get that information this week. You do have in the 8th house, you versus you. So whatever the struggles are with this house or with this ending or whatever this is over here, you are your own worst enemy. You do have in the house of like your higher self, you have the Walking Dead, and then you've got the Cup of Fate, or the Cup rune, right? This is the rune that speaks of fate. Your fate, your fortune, your, you know, casting lots, which is what I'm doing right now with the charms. So it could be it could be that The fucking bird is so annoying. Dude, you guys, this is the first video that I have tried to film today. So it's not like I have been out here pestering him or bothering him all day either. It's the first video that I have been filming today. And so he just does not want me out here, and he's just going to have to suffer through it. I don't care. He does not get to have this whole house to himself. And dude, like, so like this could be also a message for you when it comes to your higher self. Like you could be dealing with something like this in your environment, in your relationships, because we talked about love lost, a relationship ending, love coming in. Like you could be dealing with something loud and obnoxious in your life that is just time to get rid of it. Like you're done, you're over it. It's not your fate. You know this is not your fate. Like, but then also what I was going to say about this particular house, because it is the house of spirituality, right? You have the Walking Dead fun. You do have the cup of fate, the rune of fate, right? So this is like casting lots, casting fortunes, trying to, work with the dead. So maybe this is your, like maybe you're getting spiritual messages from like your medium, or you have something like that where it could be kind of obnoxious. Maybe this is your fate to have this kind of energy coming in some way, and it could be obnoxious and annoying, and you're trying to tune it out because, dude, this bird is just so fucking annoying right now. I swear to God. Hopefully I can get through to the end of this damn video without him doing this again, but I gotta be honest with you, he's really annoying me right now because seriously, he's done this before in other videos, but not this bad. And I don't understand why I'm annoying him so much when this is the only video. It's only been 2 hours. Like, whatever, he's just gonna have to deal with it. I don't care if I seem like I'm being, irritated either because he's an animal and, I should accommodate him. He's got an entire room. I'm in a different room from him right now. It's just because he can hear me and he doesn't like it. So again, I say this all the time in my readings, like, I don't take anything for granted in my readings. And by the way, we have the song We Are the Champions by Queen playing in the background. So I don't take anything for granted. So when this talks about your higher self and what you know to be good and right for you, what you know to be your fate, what you know to be your lot in life, especially because of this cup, all of this stuff, like right with this house, right? If you are living, or if you are in a situation where, you are already trying to accommodate someone because you're having compassion, or you're trying to have compassion, or you're trying to see the bigger picture, right? You're trying to understand them, and they are kind of being rude and obnoxious anyway, right? You have to be able to assert yourself in what it is that you need, right? You do not have to accommodate others simply because, right? This bird does not want me in here right now. I don't care, right? I have gone above and beyond for this bird in so many different ways that at this point, the bird is just going to have to deal. The bird is going to have to learn how to work with me just as much as I have to learn how to work with the bird. So take that however that resonates for you and what you know to be right and true in your life. Like you could be feeling like The Walking Dead, like, dude, I'm just so over it, because that applies. Whew. But also, if this has to do with like mediumship, especially with the song Believer by Imagine Dragons playing in the background, take it however it resonates for your energy. But if you are already looking into mediumship, hello, you're watching me, right? Like this might be something that you're interested in. You might want to look into that. Whew, that was a lot to get out. Finally, the birds shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. When it comes to your community, how you deal with others, we've got Strong is Beautiful. We've got the Seahorse in the reverse. We do have a piece of pyrite here, and the palm fronds. So first of all, when we have the seahorse, I always see that as like divine masculine, fatherly type energy, right? But it did come out like this, right? So maybe there's no comfort or compassion or care coming from a coming from a masculine type energy or a fatherly type energy in your environment. It could be even in your extended family, because this house does speak to your extended family, the people that are in your extended community. However, I feel like it's saying that even though, like, maybe you didn't have this influence, but maybe you made the best of it anyway, and that makes you strong. And other people, I feel like other people are filling in that gap because of the palm fronds, but also they're like seeing the beauty of your strength. Okay, so with that, I hope this resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever you can to get my channel out there, as I am new here. And thank you for watching. And I move on to Sagittarius and pray like a motherfucker that I can get through this without this damn bird squawking at me again. Fucking rude. Okay. I don't care if I'm being unfair to the bird by anyone's opinion. You can fuck off too. The bird's being rude. All right. So Sagittarius. Interesting. Ooh, Sagittarius, you got one of my you actually got, wait, 1, 2 of my special charms. And you got so many that actually came out facing the board that I'm not actually going to read them like that, because if I did that, like literally almost every single charm is upside down almost. So just take this, I'm going to give this as a general message. There's a lot that you are not paying attention to. There's a lot that you are not seeing, okay? Because so many things are facing the board, all right? You're either ignoring, not seeing, or not paying attention to something. Now, when I say ignoring, that means you are purposely not paying attention to it. If you're not seeing it, that just means that it's not there in your field of vision, right? You're just not seeing it yet. It's not come into your, you just haven't caught sight of it yet. But if you're not paying attention to it, it's in your field of vision, but you haven't turned to look. Right? So just take that however it resonates. We're going to have different houses or whatever, like however that resonates for your situation. Interesting. We do have the song Medusa playing in the background. Again, take that however it resonates for you as well. All right. So with the cup in the center, literally upside down, this particular cup, when it's in the upright, it speaks to a surprise. Like a happy surprise, but to have it like this, I feel like, you know, typically this would be like a Sunday surprise, like an ice cream sundae or something, right? If it's like this, that means the sundae has spilled, that the surprise is no longer a surprise. You figured it out ahead of time. We do have the book. So the book is like a fairy tale, a plan, a story, something that somebody has written out, some sort of something, right? Some idea or story. It could even be like a wish or something that somebody wanted. One thing I do want to say, I apologize if I lose my focus because of the birds screaming at me in the background, but we do have the fish and the Star of David, which are about faith, right? So you're going to need to keep the faith in whatever this situation is, especially if there's a surprise that is ruined, like maybe you had a surprise planned and the surprise gets ruined in some way, it gets spilled or something, right? Whatever it is, just keep the faith. Oh, God. In your first house, I don't know how I just blew that. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. This fucking bird is stressing me out so bad. So in your first house, you have the charm of Leo. So Leo is the energy of clarity and having the spotlight put on you. So you could be dealing with a Leo, but I do feel like this is like energy that is, you know, literally, you know, because it's in the first house, it's like you are in the spotlight, especially with this star, sun, moon charm, because it's literally all three, right? So you're feeling good. You're definitely in the spotlight. Okay. This is very, very positive energy for Sagittarius this week in particular, even though there could be a surprise that is ruined. Just don't, like, keep the faith. Don't worry about it. All right. Also, it could be a secret that's spilled because a cup, you know, when it's turned over, it's like emotions, something spilled, the tea being spilled, right? Or the whatever was in the cup is being spilled. So again, you know, keep the faith. So in your second house, you do have the arrow. So you're on point when it comes to like your money, your values. You also have the $10 bill in the outer ring. So there could be some money coming in for you within a month. In your third house, you have more Leo energy with the lion. And so, you know, I always see this particular lion as roaring and being in the third house of communication. That means you are roaring your values, right? Your beliefs to the world around you in some way, and it's on point, it's on target. It might actually be a positive, yeah, it might actually be a positive thing, like for your values, but like there could be, because you do have the $100 bill here and it came out in the reverse, like it could be, there could be some losses, right? It could be a little bit expensive, right? Like you may, I don't know, because it's in the house of communication, like there could be people that don't agree with you, especially because of this over here, all of this, like it could be about spirituality, right? Because again, we've got all of this, all of like, it just feels like it could be like your spiritual views are being put into the world at large, or like spilled, the secret is being spilled, but you know, have the faith or keep your faith. Don't let that bother you. It's actually a good thing, but there might be people that don't agree with you. It could be family members because of the palm fronds, like they may actually come to you and go, oh my God, I can't believe you believe XYZ, whatever. But there is transformation with the cherries in the fourth house. So it's going to change your family relationship in some way. You will need to plan, or like with these particular rulers, like it's about being measured, right? So when it comes to security and creativity, because it was straddling both the fourth and fifth houses, and joy, you're going to have to be measured in your response. You're going to have to plan out what you want to say, what you're going to do. We do have the song "You Don't Know My Name" by Alicia Keys playing in the background, and we have the frog in the fifth house. And so frog energy is very emotional energy. It's about like leaping from one spot to the next, or leaping from one conclusion to the next. So maybe that's what it's talking about when it says be measured in your responses, right? Also, it could be in terms of creative energy, leaping from one project to the next, which, you know, it did come out over the fire element in that particular sign. And then we have the number 5 domino, which is about big changes in terms of creativity and your work, how you spend your time each day. And we also have the tree that's straddling both houses. So trees always speak to me of like roots, family, having a strong foundation, right? And so, you know, again, this can be change with family that has to do with your creativity, your spiritual values, beliefs, all of that kind of stuff. You know, but there are solutions, because there also could be healing over this because of this house with the solutions here. We do have the horse room, which is all about like movement. So there's going to be movement in terms of your creative stuff and your work, or however you're spending your time each day. I apologize for this fucking bird, you guys. I am so sorry for that. I hope it's not loud in the background, because let me tell you, in my ear right now, my ear is literally pounding from him doing that. It is so fucking loud. And if anybody knows anything about cockatoos, their screech could go for 3 miles, just so you know. That's how loud they normally are. I don't know if the fucking microphone is picking it up, but oh my God. Dude. So this could be like, you could be having an argument with family or something because of all of these charms and whatever that's coming through here. So just be aware of that. Like there could be solutions and healing or movement coming in within a couple of months around that. When it comes to your partnership and others, there could be an issue with your mother because of this particular bird charm. This was a pin that belonged to my mother. Birds are all about communication. As you can hear this fucker in the background, right? They can be loud and obnoxious, especially when they're upside down, because this is communication gone wrong. So maybe there's something happening with your mother where there's some sort of communication gone wrong that needs to be healed in some way, especially because Gemini does rule this particular house for you. So again, more communication issues. There is love coming in within several months to a year. You do have the hailstorm rune, which is all about like, it's like tower, chaotic, destructive energy that you're not really paying attention to or seeing. In the 8th house, you do have the castle here. So that is coming out over the water element. So when it comes to the 8th house, so this has to do with like endings, death, rebirth, inheritance, other people's money, joint resources, all of these type of things, right? And so when you have the castle there, this is like dreaming up the possibilities, right? Fantasy, like castles, to me, that's kind of, you know, also it's like royalty or like abundance, right? So, and also castles can speak to like inheriting a home or, you know, some sort of like family lineage, ancestral something, right? Especially if it's a castle, right? Because castles will typically be passed down from, you know, ruler to ruler in the family. It's always going to be passed down in the family line. So there's something here about your ancestral family line that's going to be very important for you. We do have the umbrella in the 9th house in the outer ring, so there is protection coming for you within a month. We also have the Capricorn charm on top of the $5 bill in this particular house, so there's a lot of hard work attached to this, whether this is like higher education, bureaucracy, because this can represent like, you know, Capricorn energy institutions, which is typically what Capricorn, you know, like, you know, not Capricorn, oh my God, like lessons and wisdom or whatever, this can also come into play with this particular energy, right? When it comes to the 9th house at hard work, Saturn, wisdom. I apologize that I'm having a hard time because of the fucking bird. Dude, oh my God, he is so fucking obnoxious, you guys. I don't care that I'm getting irritated right now in this fucking video. This is too obnoxious. My ears are hurting right now. Fuck, like how am this is my office right here. How am I going to continue to make videos if every time I come out here to make a video, this bird gets this obnoxious? He's going to have to go somewhere else because I have to work. I don't care. I'm not going to put up with this shit. I have to work. Woo! So that could apply to you in some way as well, because this is the 9th house, knowing what is best for you. And like I keep saying, I don't ever take anything for granted in a reading. The fact that this fucking bird is being so disruptive throughout this entire video for so many different signs, especially when I'm saying I have to work, he's going to have to be the one to go, basically, right? He's going to have to move from his room, even though he's in a different room than I am right now. And he's still got a problem with me. So you know what work you need to do. You know what you need to do with the hard work that you need to be put in, and it's protected, okay? There is abundance coming with that. When it comes to the 10th house, your reputation, how you deal with the public at large. You do have the car in it's upside down, so there's no movement. Everything is stalled, right? So there's something about this, your career, something where everything is stalled. Is at least for the next month, there's no movement. You won't have any answers there. When it comes to your community at large, you do have the dollar bill in the reverse, so there's going to be some losses. Like it could be like a very, very small loss or a very small problem with maybe a friend or somebody that you deal with in your community. When it comes to the 12th house, we have, and by the way, we have the song If I Can't Have You by Shawn Mendes playing in the background when I'm talking about community. Like, so I don't know, something about a small loss, like maybe you're feeling the loss of somebody, like you think it's going to be a big loss, but it's actually a small loss, and you'll realize that within a month. Coming into the 12th house, which is what you don't see coming, right? Your hopes, fears, dreams, nightmares. You've got the sun and the moon, so you've got balance coming into your 12th house. You also have the number 1. So it's like new beginning, right? A new start. So that's what that balance energy would definitely bring in, is some sort of new beginning or a new start. So I hope that resonates. Oh, and it will be abundant because you've got the grapes here. I hope that resonates. I'm sorry that I'm rushing at this point. I need to keep going so that I can get this done before he starts to scream at me again. I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever you can to get my channel out there, as I am new here and you can see the struggles that I have. And I thank you for watching. I'm going to very quickly move on to Capricorn before we have another fucking disruption. Woo! Lord, help me with my temper. Oh my God. Okay. All right, so immediately for Capricorn, in the very center, you've got the piece of peacock ore. So there's magic coming in for Capricorn this week. I'm going to do this very quickly because my very obnoxious bird keeps screaming at me through almost every reading at this point. And so I'm going to have to do this as quickly as possible. I apologize for that. Hopefully he's quiet till the end of the video now. In the first house, there's nothing coming in for Capricorn specifically that's going to affect you personally based on these stuff, but you do have magic coming in. In other words, you know, mainly like the stuff that's happening is kind of happening in all of the other houses, is what this is saying. In your second house, you have the $10 bill. There could be some losses, like financial losses. It may have to do with like, actually, let me back up. So this particular dress, when it typically comes out, if it comes out in the upright, it talks about like you're really looking good, right? Or it can say like dress for success, and in particular, especially because it's in the reverse, I feel like it's saying you definitely need to dress for success. But also because this is the house of like, that's typically ruled by Taurus and Venus, right? Attraction, your values, beauty, things like that. You've got the X's and O's, you've got the grapes, and you've got this particular dress that has to do with like love, beauty, and attraction. And then you've got the number 10 or the $10 bill upside down in the outer ring. So there's losses. Maybe you're not attracted to somebody, you're no longer attracted to someone. There's something happening where there's no love, there's no value, there's no attraction for something that has to do with money or appearance or something, right? Take that however it resonates. I'm going to quickly move on to the third house, which is got the rune of protection and inheritance and family, and we have the song Dig by Incubus playing in the background. So this particular rune talks about like being protected, like your family protecting you. There's communication with your family, love from your family definitely. There's also inheritance. You're like it can be thoughts and views that you are inheriting or receiving from your family. Things that you have learned from your family that will be beneficial and that will protect you, and that will gain you some recognition. You also have Pisces ruling this house. So this is like creativity, creative communication, some sort of creative way that your family is going to help you and protect you. You don't really have anything coming in the house that deals with like home and family, but we already spoke of that over here. And well, we do have the wishes do come true rune, that the charm that is straddling both the 5th and 4th houses. So home and family, you do have wishes do come true. You've got the magic coming in, right? It's something that has to do with like creativity, joy, maybe even children, or a romantic partnership in some way. You do have the love and be loved charm. And then we've got the key over here, and this particular key has this little symbol in the center that always reminds me of one of those things that if you're very old like me and you ever had a turntable record player, you will know what I'm talking about. The little thing that you used to have to put over the center thing to make a 45 record play. So you know, that was like the solution to be able to get the smaller albums to play. And we do have a key here, and this did come out straddling both the 6th and 5th houses, which is the houses that have to do with like healing, service, work, how you spend your time each day. So there's some sort of solution, or so there's some sort of little piece that's missing that is coming in, probably something very creative that's created from love, joy, family, maybe your kids, something of value, something that's going to hold someone back or keep something out of your face or be very functional for you, right? Whew. Sorry that I'm going so fast again. Thank God he's been quiet. Let's move on to the 7th house. We do have the clock here on the 7th house. So it's just, it has to do with like, there's a time element in terms of your relationship with others, all of that kind of stuff, right? It is sitting on 8 o'clock. And so 8 is the number of abundance, right? You have a piece of pyrite, another piece of pyrite. This one is the gold pyrite. This is peacock ore. So this one I associate with magic. This one I associate with abundance, but it's also, you can never forget that it is also fool's gold. That's what pyrite is. So don't be fooled by, you know, imitation, right? There is abundance with fool's gold. It can be, you know, it can be valuable, but it's not as valuable as gold. So do not be fooled. That's why maybe there's this time element here. Also, with this coming into the house of work, healing, service, like, you know, there is something positive coming in, but it is not gold, so don't see it as that, especially if it's attached to someone else. With all of this energy, keep the faith as well. It is there, this is there to help you, because these are both in the outer ring. So again, it is abundance that's there to help you, but it is not as valuable as gold. Just keep your faith on that. There's a time element. You do have the turtle in the upright. Very positive energy when it's in the upright, because it's talking about like you have all of the resources that you need. Like the turtle carries their house right there on the back, being their shell, right? They always have their home. Also, there is a legend that speaks to the turtle carrying the world on its back, right? Oh, thank God it just finally focused. So it's like a creation myth that speaks of how the turtle created the world and then carries it on his back. This is also water energy too, by the way. So it's also very emotional, very stable. Like you can be very emotional and stable. Hold on, in your relationships, look at, there needs to be some sort of clarity. Probably the reason that this clock is attached, clarity coming out. Oh, look at very, very abundant domino to get. Or positive domino, it's the number 12 or the double sixes, the highest denomination, but it was upside down, so obviously you don't see it coming. Or maybe you don't see that you have everything that you need, right? Have the faith, or keep the faith. In the 8th house you have, oh wow, okay. So there is some sort of war coming in by the end of the week for Capricorn, because this is the army tank and it is in the house of like endings, right? And joint resources. So you may have to fight for your portion of some joint resources. There is some like war coming in, and I think this could be attached to your relationships with others. I don't know, take that however it resonates. I always like, this is firing your shot, right? This is very destructive as well. So there is definitely some ending coming in because of this destructive energy. In the 9th house, we've got the spider web in the clouds, and so you're confused because there's this spider web always talks about there's too many connections, like everything is connected to everything else, and the spider web is too complex to figure out. Like in one sitting, it's going to take a lot of thought and time and effort to, clear up the confusion attached to it, especially being in the 9th house. And this has to do with like what you know to be good and right for you. When it comes to your career and reputation, you did have the Maid with Love charm that came out upside down. So maybe you have a reputation for not being as generous as you could be. Just take it however it resonates. I'm not trying to call anybody out here. I just have to read them the way that they are. We do have the grapes of abundance in your 11th house, so your friends are going to be very helpful for you, especially because we do have the feather. I think your friends are going to be very very supportive of you within a couple of weeks to a month. When it comes to the 12th house, we do have the Mermaid, the Spoon, the Cowboy Boot, and then the number 8 domino, which is the double fours. Thank God this bird has not screeched once through your entire reading. Hopefully we can get all the way to the end. So the double fours is like security on steroids, right? Because it is the number 8, which is the number of abundance. And we already saw that over here. It's just a matter of time before that security and abundance comes in. Keep the faith, right? That you will have some come in by the end of the month. But again, when it's saying, you know, this is not gold, don't look at it as the ultimate, because there's more coming in. That's confirmed here, right? Double abundance, maybe double what you thought it was going to be, because this is the house. Hold on. We have the song State of My Head by Shinedown playing in the background. And look, it's 8:08 p.m. exactly as I saw that. So again, the number 8 is important for you. When you have the Spoon come out in the upright, it talks about medicine, and it is coming out with the boot upside down. So the medicine does have hard work attached to it. And it is something that will kind of spur you to act, because, you know, you haven't been acting when the boot is upside down. Like maybe you haven't been putting in the effort that you should, and you don't see that there's going to be a lot of work attached to it. But this work is very healing, because when the Spoon comes up in the upright, that means it's like a dose of medicine that will help you to heal you. You still have to take it. If it's upside down, you're done taking the dose and it's been bitter, right? It's like a bitter dose of medicine. But if it's in the upright, you still have to accept that healing, right? That dose of whatever it is, this dose of work that spurs you to action. And having the Mermaid come out here, this is just such 12th house energy anyway, right? This is saying like, you know, mermaids are there to like help. They're supposed to be like there to help. Well, actually not always help. Like some mermaids will help lost, you know, lost seafarers. And as you can see, it doesn't matter which way she is turned, you only see her from the back, right? And so this is like feeling lost. It has to do with like being lost at sea. Like sometimes the mermaid can cause these what is it? What are they called? Not seafarers. They're, you know, people who fucking navigate boats. What are they called? Anyway, you know, the mermaid can either lure them to their death, like lure them to their destruction, or they can help them. But there's also this myth around mermaids and like selkies and things. That's all the same energy that has to do with like, particularly with the selkie, right? Like if you steal their tail or you steal their skin, you can kind of force them to be with you. And so there's like energy of, you know, your direction being lured in some way. You don't know if you're being lured to your salvation or your destruction, basically, with this. But it, you know, it's a dose of medicine that can be very abundant and healing and bring in security. I think the only reason that this came out is because this is like a fear of yours, right? And if this is your fear, I feel like it's saying, don't worry about it. Everything is fine, because you have the eagle here in the outer ring. And the eagle speaks to freedom. This is freedom coming in within several months to a year, right? You don't see it because the eagle was upside down like that. You don't see it. You're not paying attention to it. You can't, or maybe he's not looking at you yet. He hasn't, you know, he hasn't seen you yet, because, you know, eagles have excellent vision, which is the reason that they are apex predators in the bird world, right? Interesting, we have the song, hold on, Gotta Be a Reason by Alec Benjamin playing in the background. All right, so I hope that resonates. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever you can to help me get my channel out there, as I am new here, and I thank you for watching. 2 more signs. Dear God, please, please let me get through it without any screeching. Please, I'm begging. Okay. Whew. Ooh, Aquarius, you are next. All right. Interesting that we had one kind of already popped that way. We'll get to that in a second. That'll be the first one that we read. Oy. Okay, and one fell on the floor. I hate it when they fall on the floor. That's never a good sign. I'm so sorry. I don't ever take that as a positive thing because, you know, the floor is dirty, right? Like nobody wants their stuff, their fortune to fall on the floor. And you know what else I just noticed? There's hardly any charms that came out for you. Okay, very interesting, and nothing came out in the center. Very, very interesting. So we're going to look at the one that fell on the floor, which is the rune of strength. Have you lost your strength? Dude, it's in the it's in the reverse. So it talks about like weakness when it's in the reverse. Have you lost your strength? Do you feel like you're weak? It did fall on the floor, and this is not a good thing. Like I said, remember, I don't like it when they fall on the floor because the floor is typically seen as being dirty. You know, this is where you walk, you track in all of those germs and everything from outside. Even if you take your shoes off when you come inside, you drop things on the floor all the time. The floor is not a clean place, right? So it's not a good thing to be losing your strength or to be feeling weak. If you are feeling weak, especially if it's a physical thing, go to the doctor. But if it's an emotional thing, that's something else. Let's talk about it, right? So the other charm, you got the cowboy hat. Well, this is more like, you know, the Woody from the Disney movie Toy Story. This is more like the hat that Woody would wear in that, or not Woody, yeah, Woody and Jessie from Toy Story. They're the two counterparts in that, the cowboy and cowgirl. So, and it came out like this, like the hat being, like the hat coming off, the hat falling off, right? Oh, dear God. I can't take it with this bird. Oh my God, I just can't take it with this fucking bird. Oh, dear God. Just when I start to get comfortable. Anyway, having this hat come off, like, again, it's like it conjures up images of the hat being blown off by a strong gust of wind, like, you know, and also anytime you see a hat fly off, especially a cowboy hat, you'll see everybody kind of running off and chasing it, right? So there could be something. Also, there's the meaning of like hats off to you. It could blow your hat away, blow you away, like blow your mind, basically. Also, but that's something that's coming in like within several months to a year. Take it however it resonates. It is coming in within the 11th house, the sphere of the 11th house. So that could be like in your friend circle or your network of work network, people that you socialize with, or your extended family. So coming into your first house, you do have this cruise ship. You could be traveling because this is like the house of you specifically. Like you could be traveling within a month, right? It could be for pleasure. But you know, typically this is like a journey, right? It's a cruise ship. So this is going to be like a journey, long distance travel, also being a journey over. Oh my God, dude, I just realized something. I'm talking about a journey, and look at, we have fucking bird. We have journey playing in the background, separate ways. So take that however it resonates. So again, this is an emotional journey. Swear to God, an annoying bird. Anyway, when you come to the second house, we've got the key. This particular key has this little thing in the center that's like a special piece that if you've ever used a record player or turntable, you know is the piece that you need. It looks like it to me, by the way. It's actually it's like a triquetra. Oh my God, this fucking bird. It's like a triquetra or a symbol that kind of means like the triplicity. But anyway, it looks like that fucking piece that you would put on a record player to get a 45 record to play because it's so much smaller than a regular record, right? And so this is like solutions coming in when it comes to like your money within like a month, right? Because this is in the outer ring here. You've got peaceful communication coming in your third house. You don't have anything coming in your fourth house, which has to do with like home and family and security. In your fifth house, which has to do with like creativity, romance, joy, fun, and kids, you've got love coming in. You've also got the cup, the rune that has to do with like fate, or the cup, and it came out in the reverse. So maybe you're feeling a little bit unlucky, or like maybe, I don't know, like maybe first of all, there's love here. Actually, I have to be honest, because this is coming in with like the creativity and this love charm. This fucking heart is coming out over the mutable modality, and the bird is distracting me so fucking much that I can't think. When this comes out over the mutable modality, this talks about being changeable. So maybe there's like some sort of like there's no fun anymore. Things have changed, right? Like you're no longer feeling, because when this talks about like fate, right? It can also be like the Wheel of Fortune energy. Like you're casting lots, which is what I'm doing right here, seeing what your fate is. Well, like it doesn't seem like fun anymore for whatever reason. It's not creative anymore. In the sixth house, you don't really have anything coming in, but when you talk about like the seventh house that has to do with like partnerships, relationships, and open enemies that you actually know of, there have been some losses, right? Because we do have the open purse that came out like this. So it's empty. Purse is, it's fallen over. Everything's fallen out. It's empty. There's no more abundance to be had here. Or maybe there's like a split up or a separation, as we've already seen with the songs Separate Ways by Journey that was playing when we were talking about this. Actually, it's still fucking playing right now. Literally, it is still playing right now as I've gotten to this house. Holy fuck. You know, I have to say something else because I haven't mentioned it too many times, and you know, I don't give a fuck if this bird starts screeching at me again. This is Aries energy right now. Jupiter and Mars in Aries energy right now, with this fucking bird yelling at me in the background because he wants me gone. He can fuck off with that. I'm staying here to the end of this fucking video, whether he likes it or not. And I hope you guys enjoy all my cuss bombs, because there's more coming, especially if he starts fucking screaming at me again. So take that however it resonates, right? I need a moment to like breathe. But when I talk about like Aries energy right now, as I am filming this, we have Jupiter and Mars in Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars anyway. Whenever you have a planet in its ruling sign, that makes the energy of that planet much more potent. And then when you add Jupiter to that, it just makes things bigger. It blows it out of proportion. That's the reason this bird keeps yelling at me and I keep getting angry. Mars is the planet of war, right? He's irritating the fuck out of me because he won't shut up. Right? Jupiter makes everything loud and obnoxious, and guess what? War is loud and obnoxious anyway. And Aries has a reputation for being a fighter, being the one that's like the chihuahua nipping at your heels. And guess what? Listen to this bird in the background. So take it however it fucking resonates for your life, for your reading. Right now, I don't give a fucking shit. I just want to get through the end of this video so that I can get this edited and posted and get through the end of this Mars fucking energy. Whew. So when we come to your ninth house right here, right? You've got the moon, emotional energy. You know what's good and right for you. There's probably some sort of communication that needs to be had with others, right? It's emotional communication, but you're going to have to like really speak to what you know to be true and right for you, what you know to be in your highest good. When it comes to your reputation, you have the palm fronds here. So I always see the palm fronds as a need to reach out, extend your hand to others because of the way that the palm fronds sit, right? Also, it has to do with like Palm Sunday, all these other things, but that's my own thing. When we come to the 11th house, when it has to do with like your community, the people that you socialize with, you've got the starfish. This is very positive energy. It means that you're going to be recognized. You know, you may even be a star. You may be very popular, right? That's especially when the starfish comes out in the 11th or 10th houses. This to me is like if I was reading a chart and I was to see either the sun or moon in Leo in one of those houses, that would tell me like this, you know, especially at specific degrees, right? But this would tell me someone was going to be famous or very popular. So it's very likely that you are very famous or popular within your community or something. And so you're going to get this recognition. And so if you're feeling like you haven't had the recognition at all, especially with this energy over here in the 5th house, like a loss of love in the creative house or the romantic house, like don't worry, because you absolutely have that love and recognition over here. There's nothing to worry about. And it's possibly because of your, you know, unusual beauty, because this particular cat I always see as a Siamese cat, and she always, like, look at the face of it, right? And there's always like the feeling of infinity because of the circles, even though Siamese cats don't have spots. I see this one as a Siamese cat with like the infinity circles everywhere, right? It's just how I interpret it. That's my own personal interpretation for this cat. It also has to do with intuition. So maybe, you know, in your community, this is why people like love you and why you're so popular, because of your intuitive abilities, your you know, there's something unusual about you. And being an Aquarius, you're unusual anyway, right? We do have the song Temporary Home by Carrie Underwood playing in the background. And it's interesting that that's playing in the background when you've got this castle, right? So maybe your social circle that you are in or involved in right now is your temporary social circle, and you may not see that. Maybe you're feeling kind of icky over here, and it's because you're not in the right social circle. That could be the reason that this particular hat, like maybe you'll be blown away once you do find your circle, your people, your like where you belong, right? Because of the particular song playing in the background. And with that, I hope that resonates. I'm going to end it here so that we can get through this without that fucking bird yelling at me in the background again. If this does not resonate, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever you can to help me get my channel out there, as I am new here, and I thank you for watching. Let's move on to Pisces. Oh my God, we are at the 3-hour mark at this point, and it's probably going to go at least 15 minutes. So 3 hours and 15 minutes for this video. And I got screamed at the entire time because I was definitely not wanted in this area. Holy fuck. Okay. Let's see if we can make it through this last reading without the little pissy bird yelling at me in the background. And I've kind of decided his name is going to be Pissy Bird from now on. It'll probably get shortened to PP or Pepe or something that has to do with the initials P, because, you know, or PB or something. Pissy Bird, Pissy Pants, I don't know. All I know is he's bitchy. Yeah. Let's go on to Pisces. All right. Pisces. So I have a couple of very special charms in my charm bucket, and you happen to get one of them, and so I always attach special meanings to those charms. You don't have anything in the very center, and because we have a special charm that came out, I am actually going to start with that particular charm first, and then we'll go from there. So this charm that I'm talking about is actually the bird. Oh, interesting. So we have, it's a bird pin that used to belong to my mother, and, you know, my mother passed away recently, and so I always see this as like communication. This did come out in this area up here, which had to do with like, oh my God, I don't actually remember which, hold on. Believe in Love. It came out with communication, and I'm actually trying to rush so much because of this bird that I forgot which house it came out in. I don't know if it was the 7th house or the 8th house now, to be honest. I think it was the 8th house, okay? And so I'm going to read it that way. So I'm going to read it that way only because this particular, like I said, my mother passed away recently, and so this particular, you know, birds always talk about communication, and so it could be that there's communication from your mother that you are either ignoring, or it could be communication from a passed on loved one that you are not paying attention to, you're not seeing, or something. It's a message to keep the faith, believe in love, like don't give up, right? And so also that fly that keeps landing on my hand as I'm trying to talk to you, I also see flies as, you know, a fly on the wall, right? Kind of watching over, spying also, but like with this particular energy that's coming through, it could be that like maybe you have a passed on loved one that's saying that they're watching over you. They're always a fly on the wall in whatever situation it is that you find yourself in. It could be your mother. It does not have to be. It could just be, you know, in communication that you are not paying attention to at this time. We have the song The Warmth by Incubus playing in the background. I feel like I need to come over here to the 7th house next with this particular shirt. This feels like it's saying there's going to be peace with the other people in your life, because this is the house of others. This could be a spouse or relationship, like a partnership, a marriage, or a business partnership. But I actually feel like, especially with this energy here, this is saying, because I always take this shirt as being like, you know, it's a Hawaiian shirt. It's the kind of shirt you would buy while you're on vacation in Hawaii, right? So that brings thoughts of peace, fun, you know, easy, fun, easygoing times, right? So there's peace with others coming in. Maybe you just don't see it yet because the camera wasn't focusing. We do have in the straddling the 8th and 9th houses, we do have the house, right? So this has to do with like home and family. It could be that maybe there's something about the reputation within your family that needs to be addressed. It could be something that has to do with your family and what you know to be within the highest good of your family that needs to be addressed. You know, I do have to say, with the ears of corn, I always think of a couple of things with the ears of corn. So corn is like, it has to do with like abundance because it is a food, right? So it would be a crop. And obviously this is a very, you know, ripe, ready to eat piece of corn, right? So there is some abundance coming in for it. But again, with the ears of corn, and we were talking about like being a fly on the wall over here, maybe, you know, it's almost like, you know, like you're listening, right? Like there's this energy of like listening. It's abundant for you to listen, especially if it's coming in terms of like your reputation within your family. Like maybe you don't have the reputation of being very patient or being very open-minded, and that's something that would be very abundant for you if you were to do that within your family. This is not your public, at least, even now in a regular chart, this would be your public reputation, but because of the house, this is within your family. Okay, so you may be somebody else when it comes to your friends and, you know, the world at large. So when it comes to your community, you have the $10 bill in the reverse, so you might lose a friend or two. You know, you could feel it a little bit because the $10 bill is sort of mid denomination. It's not the lowest, which would be the 1, but it's not the highest, which is the 100. It's somewhere in between. So whatever this loss is, right, whatever this cost or this expense is that has to do with your community, I feel like you might kind of intuitively know or see it coming before it happens at the beginning of the week, and then it'll happen by the end of the week. Take it however it resonates. In your 12th house of what you don't see coming, we have the rune of the hailstorm. So this is kind of destructive energy, right? When you have the dress come out, the dress speaks to like dress for success, right? So there could be some sort of like chaos coming in your blind spot that you don't see coming, and you're going to really need to be prepared for it. Like with this dress for success term, I always see this as like, when I say dress for success, I feel like it's like the interview, right? Like if you were going on an interview, or if you were going someplace where you know you have to impress, right? That's the energy of this particular charm. And so this is the energy that's coming into your blind spot. Like maybe you don't even see that you're going to need to do that, right? But you will. It's going to be within a month, and it's going to feel very like sudden, out of the blue, chaotic, or like destructive. I don't know. I'm just telling you now, like you're going to need to impress, like you're going to need to think on your toes. You're going to need to be prepared. And it's like they're warning you now. You do have the strong is beautiful charm in your first house. So this is tied into this energy here. You're really going to need to be strong. You're going to need to listen and communicate rather than speak, right? Because of this chaos energy right here, be prepared. You're going to need to impress. It did come out in the reverse, the stress. So at this moment, you are not prepared. You are not prepared for what's coming. I'm so sorry. It is chaos and you are not prepared for it. And then in the second, and then look at, you have, listen, look at, you've got Stars or Scars to Your Beautiful by Alicia Cara playing in the background. And then you've got in the second house, that is the house of this ruled by Venus, which is the planet of beauty and love and value and valuables, right? You've got the fish and you've got the charm that says, be kind, be free, be true, be peace, be love, be compassionate, be beautiful, right? So be strong. Listen, no better you than the you that you are, no better life than the life that you're living. You know, this is a real serious, like this is confirmation, like a big confirmation because of all of this energy right here, right? Listen, definitely listen. But you're going to need, like, I don't know, just, I feel like it's a very, like, you're going to need to be compassionate, right? But also be strong. And then over here in the fourth house, we do have, oh, and I didn't see that we have over here in the sixth house when I was talking about all this energy over here. Well, I'll get to that in a second because it kind of confirms this dress. But in the fourth house, you have the skull. And so it, you know, the skull will represent like your ancestors, especially in the fourth house, but it can also represent your passed on loved ones. So this is confirmation of the energy that you had over here, with the special charm being the bird and, you know, the believe in love, right? So you are getting messages from your passed on loved ones, from your ancestors, from your family, you know, to have faith, like, and I also, because this came out like this, I see this two ways when it comes out like that. Like number one, it looks like a mask, right? Take the mask off. That's number one. But number two, it's like rebirth energy. Something is going to be reborn that has to do with family. So, you know, take that however it resonates. And then when I was speaking of being prepared, right? Taking care with your appearance. This is a hair comb charm. And so hair combs are used to keep hair out of your face, to hold your hair back. So those are key words: to hold back, to keep something out of your face. It did come out like this, so you are not utilizing this tool the way that you need to. So this is a tool that you have in your toolbox. It doesn't have to be an actual hair comb, right, or a barrette or anything like that, but they're saying that you possess some sort of gift to hold back, or, you know, keep something, like stay out of someone's face, or keep someone or something out of your face. Like you already possess the ability to do this, but you are not utilizing it, and you will need to utilize that within several months to a year. And we do have the song Just Like You by 3 Days Grace playing in the background, so that, you know, take that however it resonates, especially when it comes to appearance, right? It could be that when all of this energy is coming through with like family, your family reputation, the need to listen, the need to be compassionate, the need to hold back, because maybe you and someone in your family are mirroring each other, and you will definitely see the need for the use of this tool, the use of the ability to hold back in some way within a year. Okay, and so now we've made it completely around the board with no more screeches from the birdie. Thank God for that. So I hope that resonates. If it does not, please stick around. There may be another reading for you here on the channel that does. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can, to help me get my channel out there, as I am new here, and I thank you for watching.